भाई बहुत बेकार सर्विस है। फायर ब्रिगेड वालों की बहुत बेकार सर्विस है। हम खुद रस्सियाँ फेंक फेंक के बंदों को बचा रहे हैं, लेकिन कोई नहीं आया। जब सोच लो, हम सामने वाली बिल्डिंग में रह के हम पर रुका नहीं जा रहा था, ऊपर आते में तो अंदर बेचारे कैसे रुक रहे हैं। भाई बहुत बेकार सर्विस है। फायर ब्रिगेड वालों की बहुत बेकार सर्विस है। हम खुद रस्सियाँ फेंक फेंक के बंदों को बचा रहे हैं, लेकिन कोई नहीं आया। जब सोच लो, हम सामने वाली बिल्डिंग में रह के हम पर रुका नहीं जा रहा था, ऊपर आते में तो अंदर बेचारे कैसे रुक रहे हैं। भाई बहुत बेकार सर्विस है। फायर ब्रिगेड।
So this was the claim by, this was the eyewitness who was in the nearby building, and as he spoke that we are on the building that's nearby the building that was on fire, that is the hotel, the restaurant, and they are unable to stay there because of the suffocation, because of the smoke inhalation after the fire. Huge plumes of smoke were coming out. Massive fire, and also he highlights the delay in the fire truck's arrival, and he also claimed that one fire truck had no water. It had to go back because it did not have water, and fire at 8:10 a.m. and fire tenders reached around 8:30 a.m. and one fire tender, it returned, and then the fire tenders arrived after 1 hour. He's claiming that the fire tenders reached 1 hour late after the fire, and you can understand how much devastation was caused because of the delay. All right, viewers, now let's go on to another big breaking news development that we are getting now, and this is about Delhi government to withdraw bed and breakfast policy after the Malviya and Nagar fire tragedy. Now, Tourism Minister Kapil Mishra, the Delhi government, as per Kapil Mishra, Tourism Minister, and the Delhi government has decided to officially withdraw its bread and breakfast policy and review all establishments operating under the scheme following the deadly fire at a hotel in South Delhi's Malviya Nagar area. Now, Tourism Minister Kapil Mishra has said we are going to officially withdraw the bed and breakfast scheme, and all establishments licensed under it will be checked. And we spoke to him, and he says that we will scrap this policy. It has been scrapped, and action would be taken against operators found violating the terms of the license. And now, but this action is being taken after 21 lives are lost. And he says that if any establishment registered under the scheme is found running more than 6 rooms, its license will be cancelled. Now, this was Kapil Mishra's response. We also spoke to him exclusively. All right, let's go to Sarthak, who is reporting from the ground zero. Sarthak, what's the latest that you are fetching? We are getting to know that action is being taken by the authorities very late after the incident, after 21 lives have been lost, but many hotels are shutting their shop because they fear that action will be taken against them. Their shutters are down, their boards have been removed, but they're still running. Sarthak.
Well, that's absolutely right, Shivam. After the incident,
absolutely right, Shivam. After the incident took place, the entire area seems like has gone on a shutdown, where most of the shops are closed. Most of the shops are not operating. They were neither operating yesterday. They're not operating today because certainly. They will also come under scrutiny because this has brought to the light of the authorities that most of these shops do not have proper licenses with them, and yet they are operating at full force after the tragic incident that took place early morning yesterday. These shops have been closed. And also we got to speak to one of the bystanders yesterday. Even I personally got to speak one of the bystanders yesterday, where we were told that the incident took place early in the morning at around 8:05, 8:10, and the first fire tender came at around 8:25, 8:30 something, and very soon it went back, and then an hour later more fire tenders came in, but by that time in an hour the entire building got burned. 21 people lost their life. The locals tried saving those people. So there was one. The incident took place. This was a tragic incident. But following that, what all action should have been taken by the authorities, that is something that that was not actually on point. That was not appropriate. They should have rushed to the spot immediately. And now the latest that we are getting, the BNB scheme has been exploited by most of the hotels, most of the guest houses in the area. After which Kapil Mishra, the tourism minister, has declared that they would withdraw the BNB scheme. The BNB scheme, the whole idea of establishing the BNB scheme was to support these medium and small enterprises to run their businesses. Because if they cannot run a bigger business, at least they can run a smaller guest house with 6 rooms. 3 rooms on the first floor, 3 rooms on the second floor. That's it. That's pretty much it. But these hotels were running 25, 26 rooms. There were PGs, there were rooms in the basement, there were rooms on the top floor, one single entry and exit point, no windows, no ventilation facilities, no fire license. So many issues with this entire situation, and now authorities are waking up and trying to investigate further and making claims that they would inspect and they would withdraw all the licenses and all. And this is happening only after 21 people lost their lives. This is very tragic and very saddening, Shivam.
But what about the investigation, Sarthak? If you can also put that into perspective, because the owner has been arrested, and we were the first to break the news that he did not possess an NOC, a fire NOC, and he also has admitted that. But the hotel manager is also on the run. If you can put into perspective the entire investigation that is happening, the developments on that too, Sarthak.
Well, Shivam, after the Republic exposure, we exposed all the restaurants and hotels in the area. For example, there is a hotel nearby which goes by the name Green Residency. We exposed that hotel as well. It was also under the BNB schemes where they were supposed to run not more than 6 rooms, and they were having 25 to 26 rooms, just much like this particular hotel that you can see behind me. This is something that is very rampantly prevalent in the entire area. Lokesh Bajaj, who happens to be the owner of this hotel, was taken into custody by the police. He was arrested. There were 2 other people whose name we do not have any information about their details, but it was being run on a partnership deed. Lokesh Bajaj has made some confessions, made some revelations to the police, where he has said that he was not involved in the day-to-day operations of the hotel. It was his manager Jay Mishra who was actually responsible for all these operations. On the other hand, he has also mentioned that there were some renovations made, some construction changes that were made to the hotel. There were some infrastructure changes to the hotel. More rooms were added. The entire structure of the hotel was changed. This is something he has very clearly mentioned in his report to the police. Yeah, but he's trying to get away from any sort of accountability by putting everything on Jay Mishra, by saying that he had delegated the day-to-day operations to Jay Mishra. But how is it possible that if any renovation that is being made in the hotel is being done without his knowledge? He's the owner of the property, and anything that any change that has to be made has to come directly from him. At least they have to seek his permission. So these are very important questions, and therefore Delhi police has pressed multiple sections in this case, including a section related to culpable homicide in the BNS, under the BNS, and they are very serious about investigating the case. On the other hand, it has also been brought to the knowledge of the MCD mayor, where he has also given a statement stating that a deep inspection will be done in this, and a report has to be filed within next 3 days. Shivam.
Yeah, Sarthak, stay with us because there are many developments that we are getting right now, and action is being taken against all other hotels which were operating in a similar pattern in this case. Sarthak, you have been to the location. If you walk around and also tell us what was the situation yesterday and the difference that you're observing today after the fire and right now, because many hotels were operating in a very similar pattern. Foreigners come here for treatment to India and they stay in such hotels which are operating in the bread and breakfast scheme, and they are operating far beyond their capacity, and they're flouting rules and norms openly, including the fire safety norms, Sarthak.
Absolutely, Shivam. This is a complete violation of the safety norms. As a matter of fact, most of the people who died in the incident were foreign nationals, people coming from African countries. They were the ones who died. That gives a bad name to the hospitality industry of India, and this is something that you can see after all the shops are closed behind in the nearby locality. All the shops are closed. If we go to that side, there are multiple hotels and guest houses in this area. They are closed. They are not operational at this point. After a big exposure that was done by Republic, where we had mentioned that most of these hotels are running without any valid license. They do not have the fire license, do not have the food and beverage license, and they might not have a lot of other licenses that are required for running these hotels. After which today these hotels are not operating because maybe they are under this fear that they would also come under scrutiny. But the Republic investigation is still ongoing. We are still exposing all these hotels because this is not just in the Malviya Nagar area. This is prevalent across the city of New Delhi, or probably across the country. This
All right,
is
Sarthak.
a bigger issue, something that we witnessed in the Goa fire incident as well, and now we are seeing that happening again in the Delhi fire incident.
Many parallels can be drawn to the Goa club fire incident. There also the owners ran away just knowing the magnitude of the incident. Thanks a lot, Sarthak, for all the latest details. Keep tracking for all the latest developments. Now, viewers, let's move on to other breaking development in this case. Now, Republic confronted MCD officers when they reached for inspection and reaching on the site for inspection. We'll also play this confrontation sequence. Let's go to that confrontation sequence once.
सर कुछ अभी तक आप लोग क्या इंस्पेक्शन कर रहे हैं? सर आप इंस्पेक्शन करने आए हैं? सर इंस्पेक्शन करने आए हैं आप लोग? हाँ, इंस्पेक्शन। सर क्या जानकारी मिली? सर वीडियोग्राफी की आप लोगों ने? नहीं सर, क्या दायरे हैं सर? जांच के क्या दायरे हैं? अभी तक क्या खामियां समझ आई
सर? चेक कर रहे हैं अभी हमें।
आपको लगता है कि ये लापरवाही हुई है सर? लापरवाही हुई है? लापरवाही नहीं सर।
सर लापरवाही किसी की नहीं।
चेक कर रहे हैं। 5 कमरों की जगह 25 कमरे बन गए। लाइसेंस लापरवाही 25 कमरे बन गए।
अभी बोले तो यार ऐसा रिपोर्टिंग की बात बताएंगे, मैं कुछ नहीं कह सकता।
सर लापरवाही ये तो मानते हैं, कम से कम
नहीं
लापरवाही
कर रहे हैं, वो एक्शन हो जाएगा सर उनका।
कार्रवाई होगी सर, कार्रवाई होगी। सर कुछ अभी तक आप लोग क्या इंस्पेक्शन कर रहे हैं? सर आप इंस्पेक्शन करने आए हैं? सर इंस्पेक्शन करने आए हैं आप लोग?
हाँ, इंस्पेक्शन।
सर क्या जानकारी मिली? सर वीडियोग्राफी की आप लोगों ने?
नहीं
सर क्या दायरे हैं सर? जांच के क्या दायरे हैं? अभी तक क्या खामियां समझ आई
सर? चेक कर रहे हैं अभी हमें।
आपको लगता है कि ये लापरवाही हुई है सर? लापरवाही हुई है? लापरवाही नहीं सर।
सर लापरवाही किसी की नहीं।
चेक कर रहे हैं। ये 5 कमरों की जगह 25 कमरे बन गए। लाइसेंस लापरवाही 25 कमरे बन गए।
वो कर रहे हैं।
बोले तो यार
ऐसा रिपोर्टिंग की बात बताएंगे, मैं कुछ नहीं कह सकता।
सर लापरवाही ये तो मानते हैं, कम से
नहीं
लापरवाही
कर रहे हैं, वो एक्शन हो जाएगा सर उनका।
कार्रवाई होगी सर, कार्रवाई होगी।
All right, viewers, let's shift our focus to another big development, and this is about SEBI. Now, SEBI has barred an interim order against Bengaluru-based Rajesh Exports, a promoter from securities market over rupees 15 lakh crore revenue misrepresentation. Now, SEBI passes interim order against Rajesh Exports. Now, rupees 15.15 lakh crore revenue gap is what's under scanner, and promoter Rajesh Mehta barred from stock market wheeling and dealing in securities of Rajesh Exports. Now, SEBI unearths major revenue misrepresentation at Rajesh Exports, and forensic auditor appointed to probe Rajesh Exports book. So this is the big development that we are getting, and this is the rupees 15.15 lakh crore revenue gap under scanner, and SEBI passes interim order against Rajesh Exports. So this is the interim order by SEBI. All right, let's go to Pranav for all the latest details on this. Pranav, if you can put in perspective the chronology of events that happened and what exactly is the cause of that. Pranav, over to you.
Well, absolutely. In fact, this is one of the biggest things that has been, unveiled over the past about 24 hours. In fact, stock markets are busy just assessing what it actually means. I'll just take our viewers through what exactly is the SEBI saying in this case. One is that the SEBI has issued an interim order saying that there is a revenue gap of 15.15 lakh crore. Now, this is basically, and he has been, Rajesh Mehta has actually been barred from the securities market. Now, why is this important? This is important because the stock price today has fallen about 5%. Just to give you a perspective, this stock was trading at about 1,000 rupees in 2023. Right now, the stock price is at about 104 rupees. And one of the most important factors that matters to all the investors is that state-owned LIC has about 10% stake in Rajesh exports. So that's the total, the gravity of the matter, because it involves not just the money of common retail investors, but also of corporations such as LIC, and exposure to such a fraud that SEBI has mentioned may be a risky matter as far as the investments are concerned.
Yeah, when exactly, Pranav, was this unearthed, and also about the amount of money that is involved, 15.15 lakh crores. It's a lot.
Just to give you a perspective, they're basically into an end-to-end gold service providers. They reportedly own mines, and SEBI has in fact also highlighted there is a misappropriation about 1,000 crore in one of the mines that they own through one of their subsidiaries. The primary case is that there has been a misrepresentation in terms of the 15 lakh crore revenue gap. Now, just to give you the gravity, the market cap of this company is just about 3,000 crore, and the revenue gap that we're talking about here is 15 lakh crore. So, on one side, the size of the company is much smaller than what the revenue gap is. This has been going on for the past about 5 years, and the stock price has already reflected that. So, market sentiment majorly dented, investor money exposed via LIC, mutual funds, and other instruments that could be as far as this company is concerned.
So this is another big scam that has been unearthed. Pranav, thanks a lot for this information, but stay with us. We have another development and we'll need your comment on that too. And this is about oil. Now, Venezuelan interim president Delcy Rodriguez meets Prime Minister Modi today in crucial 5-day visit with a focus on energy and investment between the two nations. And a major agenda of talks will be on oil as India looks to diversify its oil import sources amid the uncertainty in West Asia war, putting a chokehold on the Strait of Hormuz. So let's go to Pranav for what exactly will be the agenda and how fruitful will this interaction be. Pranav, there is a shortage of oil energy resources because the Strait of Hormuz is choked, and America also completely understands it, and America wants to sell the Venezuelan oil in this case. And Delcy Rodriguez being in India, can we expect a major deal when it comes to oil imports for India?
Well, we will have to wait and see whether some kind of deal actually emerges out of this visit. But why it is important is, if you just recollect, yesterday Marco Rubio in fact said that sanctions on Russian oil are at the core of US policy. And given that India is about 30 to 40% oil dependent, and Russian accounts is about 30 to 40% of India's oil imports, it is an absolutely critical matter, given that Strait of Hormuz is blocked. Russian oil depends completely on the US sanctions surrounding that. It could be important and interesting to see if India looks at diversifying its imports, the global oil imports, and from that perspective, it will be important to watch what kind of commentary comes out of the Venezuelan president's visit to India today.
Yeah, definitely, Pranav, because also the waiver on the sanctions is getting over. The time limit, the time frame that has been set by US in this case. And Donald Trump wants to present a very good picture of how he's managing the entire confrontation, the conflict. However, he wasn't able to manage it very properly. And that is exactly the reason why there was a waiver on the sanctions of Russian oil that was given. And Marco Rubio said that they won't be continuing, they're not planning to continue on the waiver. Do you think this Venezuelan oil comes as an alternative to the Russian oil? Because until you are ready with an alternative, you can't go on banning somebody from selling oil.
Well, whether it comes as an alternative to Russian oil is a question of a larger debate. But yes, at a time when India is looking at diversifying its oil sources, given that the fragility around Russian oil, given the fragility in the Strait of Hormuz, it could definitely be one of the options that could emerge. Remember the action, the military action that the US carried out in Venezuela. So US, in fact, also has been signaling that the oil companies operating in Venezuela could be largely linked to the US. So the geopolitical situation that evolves around Venezuelan oil, given the involvement of US in Venezuela, in the operations within Venezuela, it would be interesting to actually see how the entire geopolitical equation pans out. In addition to the fact, on the backdrop, in fact, of the fact that Russian and the Strait of Hormuz oil are fragile streams right now.
Yeah, but primarily we are talking about energy security here, Pranav. And it's very important because it's a very critical moment because of what's happening between United States of America and Iran. But we're also getting latest pictures here where Delhi meets Prime Minister Narendra Modi. And there's a lot of signaling that's going on, lot of messaging that is going on. How are world leaders going to read all this messaging? Because this also means a shift from the traditional buying that India does, whether it be the Russian oil or the oil that we were getting from Middle East, but because it's getting choked. It's also a threat for the oil that was being sold from the Middle East, because if we shift our market, other countries also shift their markets, it becomes a threat, because that will be a repercussion of the continuing conflict in the West Asian region, Pranav.
Well, absolutely. In fact, we were talking to experts yesterday after Marco Rubio made that comment. And, some of the experts, in fact, gave us 3 scenarios. One was a base case scenario, which they consider will be valid for about a short term, where there could be, certain kind of price advantages that India could get from looking at oil beyond Russia. The second was a risk case where they spoke about 6 to 12 month scenario, where the import costs could increase, and that in turn could start affecting India's inflation, that could start affecting the margins as well as guidance of Indian companies that are heavily oil dependent. And the third is the worst case scenario, where the Russian oil is completely banned, that is the American sanctions are back in place on Russian oil, in which case India will really have to rush to look at other options, or sourcing oil from other parts of the world, which is the worst case scenario that could have longer repercussions. It's what experts were telling us. So what comes out of today's meeting will be absolutely crucial from India's energy dependence.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Pranav, for all the latest details. And these were live pictures, live visuals of Venezuelan interim President Delcy meeting Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Coming up next, all the latest details on this and a lot more after the break.
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
सैंडविच, लस्सी और छाछ और
हर घूंट में चमकी चाट, ड्राई फ्रूट और दही बड़े। चमकी चाट से स्वाद बढ़े।
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चमकी चाट।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता, उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ,
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
बुझाए ठंडक लाए सबको भाई जीरा से MDH का जल जीरा से
जीरा से असली रिफ्रेशिंग, असली स्वाद, असली मजा।
AU सेविंग्स अकाउंट में मिलते हैं अमेजिंग बेनिफिट्स, पेपरलेस बैंकिंग एंड हायर इंटरेस्ट, वो भी हर महीने।
मनी 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 एवरी मंथ।
सोच बदलो और बैंक भी।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है। अरे मेरे राजा,
राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
In fact, very often I believe the only way to get justice in India is a media trial. So there's no reason for the media, if it's doing a good job of a media trial, to be on the back foot. In fact, the courts should stop making these overarching remarks about media trial and contemplate about one very basic thing. With the greatest of respect to the courts, when the other institutions fail, when people get let down by the system, when even the judiciary does not seem to be listening or raising a noise about issues, like in the case of Twisha Sharma, who does the public look to for justice, for raising their voice, for bringing something that's utterly false, illegal or wrong to public attention? It is only and only the media. And today, therefore, we are doing a media trial in this specific case, ladies and gentlemen, of Twisha Sharma, the 33-year-old daughter-in-law of an ex-judge, in a case where the ex-judge and the ex-judge's advocate's son appear to be more than involved. Ladies and gentlemen, 15 questions tonight. And if they think it's a media trial, so be it. So be it. Why did the ex-judge in the case of Twisha Sharma, neither she nor her son call a police or an ambulance? What took them 57 minutes to bring the body down? Where are the 3 men who are seen in the video dragging Twisha's body, destroying evidence? What was the police doing? Did they question the house staff? Did they question the judge? Was Twisha carrying headphones in her bag, in her hand, or a rope?
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
Thank you for joining us here on Republic TV. You're watching the live report. We have breaking news updates on the Delhi fire. The criminal negligence that led to the Delhi fire where 21 lives were lost. Republic has done an investigation and we have more details trickling in of what went wrong in Malviya Nagar. Here are the headlines. They only had a license for a tea shop, but were operating a full-blown hotel. B&B, the criminal negligence is beginning to unravel. They admit that there was no fire NOC. It's a problem across the national capital. Almost 90% of the outlets don't have a fire NOC, a tragedy waiting to happen. Manhunt continues for the manager of the hotel where 21 lives were lost. The owner arrested, the manager is on the run. Mamata Banerjee loses Trinamool, getting in details that more and more MLAs and MPs are in touch with the BJP. Ritabrata Banerjee becomes the LOP. Will take over today. There are reports that 20 MPs are in touch with the BJP. We have details coming in. Ladies and gentlemen, as we look into what really went wrong in the national capital, as more eyewitnesses speak out, as more videos emerge, as more details come out of the hotel, it is clear that this was killer negligence. We have videos. I want to start with the videos that show how even the fire brigade came at least an hour late after the damage was done. This is a witness video accessed by Republic. There are two videos. Can we please play both the videos out? Okay, there are two videos that are coming in, and I want to play those videos out and also go across to Saurav and Sarthak, who are at the site. In fact, one of the witnesses here, he says that, and he refers to this video, and he says the damage is done, and the system is so bad, even the fire brigade has not arrived. He's shouting, screaming, and he claims the fire brigade is just not there. Sarthak, if I can go across to support Sarthak and Saurav. Sarthak, more and more eyewitnesses saying that even the fire brigade came an hour later. What do we know about the timeline? Some are saying that the fire brigade came but did not have adequate water and had to return.
Well, that is exactly what we are getting, Niranjan. The information that we have received that the fire took place around 8:10 in the morning, early morning at around 8:10, and that is when information got received by the Delhi Fire Services. A fire tender reached at the spot in 20 minutes. However, they did not have adequate water to sustain the fire. So therefore, it went back, and then more fire tenders came after an hour later, nearly around 9:45, 47 more, 10 more fire tenders reached at the spot. But it took them an hour to reach there. By that time, the locals tried saving the people who were stuck inside the building. We also have the visuals of people jumping from the building. 3 of them died because of that. Some of them suffered multiple injuries. There were spinal injuries, there were bone injuries that they suffered because of suffocation. They did not have any other choice but to jump from the building. There was no other entry-exit point, as we have mentioned time and again. There was just one single entry-exit point. The fire took place on the ground floor, which was the kitchen area, and there were rooms on the upper floors, which makes it even more impossible for all the customers inside the hotel to come out of the hotel, because there's just one entry-exit point, and that's exactly where the fire was caught. So it took them, the fire brigade took 1 hour to reach the spot and try saving the people over there, but by the time that it was already too late, because of which 21 people have lost their lives. This is also something that needs to be investigated. This is something that has to be answered by the Delhi Fire Services, because this is not the first time it has happened. Much like that, it happened in the sector, Noida sector 150 case as well, where it took a long time for the fire department to deploy their fire tenders at the spot and just begin with rescuing people. This is also something that needs to be addressed. But apart from that, the owner has been taken into custody by the police. He is being investigated. He'll be produced before the Saket court, where they will be seeking 4 days of police remand to investigate the matter further. He is throwing blames at his manager, saying that he was the one who was responsible for day-to-day operations. The manager goes by the name J. Mishra. He's Lokesh Bajaj, who is the owner of this property, says that he had delegated the daily operations to J. Mishra. He was responsible for making sure that the licenses are renewed. He was responsible for daily operations. He also mentioned that certain structural changes were made to the property, some renovations were made, and says that he wasn't aware of that, which sounds very unrealistic, which sounds very impossible, because he happens to be the owner of the property. So if any structural change or any renovation that has to be done to the property cannot be done without his knowledge. So there are several questions at this point, and one of the issues that we have constantly addressed, that these hotels that are running in this area, they do not have proper licenses. We exposed another hotel in the same neighborhood, which goes by the name Green Residency. We mentioned that this was also under the BNB scheme. However, it was running as a conventional hotel, and probably that hotel itself does not have a proper license with it, because it has to be displayed at the main gate. It wasn't there. It wasn't there at the reception. It's just for the customers to have a confidence that the hotel runs with proper licenses and their proper safety norms that they're complying with. But none of that was possible.
Okay.
Most of the shops in the neighborhood are closed. Most of the guest houses that they are closed at this point.
Sarthak, be with me. There are videos of the witnesses. I'd like to play the videos out. Hear them yourself, ladies and gentlemen, as they say that the fire brigade came late after the damage was done. The fire brigade 2 kilometers away could have reached within 4 to 5 minutes. But take a look at this.
पूरी आग लग गई
यार वो पाइप मैंने पहले कहा था फाड़ दे वो जो पाइप था ना फाड़ देने के
अल्लाह रहम 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 अल्लाह रहम रहम अल्लाह रहम कूद गई अल्लाह रहम 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 रुका तक नहीं जा रहा भाई। बहुत बेकार सर्विस है, फायर ब्रिगेड वालों की बहुत बेकार सर्विस है। हम खुद रस्सियां फेंक फेंक के बंदों को बचा रहे हैं, लेकिन कोई नहीं आया। जब सोच लो हम सामने वाली बिल्डिंग में रह के हम पर रुका नहीं जा रहा था ऊपर आते में, तो अंदर बेचारे कैसे रह रहे हैं भाई। बहुत बेकार सर्विस है, फायर ब्रिगेड वालों की बहुत बेकार सर्विस है। हम खुद रस्सियां फेंक फेंक के बंदों को बचा रहे हैं, लेकिन कोई नहीं आया। जब सोच लो हम सामने वाली बिल्डिंग में रह के हम पर रुका नहीं जा रहा था ऊपर आते में, तो अंदर बेचारे कैसे रह रहे हैं भाई। इतनी बुरी आग लग गई
यार वो पाइप मैंने पहले कहा था फाड़ दे वो जो पाइप था ना फाड़ देने के
अल्लाह रहम 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 अल्लाह रहम रहम अल्लाह रहम कूद गई अल्लाह रहम 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 रुका तक नहीं जा रहा।
Getting breaking news now that the PNB policy has been scrapped. Of course, the damage is done. They are scrapping the policy after the loopholes were exposed. Delhi government belatedly saying that they will review the policy under which hotels took mileage and openly flouted rules. The Delhi government is going to withdraw the BNB policy as confirmed by Kapil Mishra, the tourism minister, and this is after the Delhi fire. Let me go across to Saurav also joining us. Saurav, how many hotels in Delhi have flouted, have used this loophole? Hearing that there was a policy change in 2025 and most of them breached the law after the 2025 policy change. What is this policy change? What is the BNB policy?
That is running over here. So why did no action?
Yes, Niranjan, there was a BNB policy introduced in 2025 by the Delhi government, and in that policy it was given that with an aim of ease of doing business, the hotels were only required to get the BNB licenses from the Delhi Tourism Department. Delhi Tourism Department was solely responsible for conducting all the inspections and making sure that everything is in place in any hotel which attains this BNB license from the Delhi Tourism Department. And now this hotel which we are showing you on Republic TV's camera, that this hotel was gutted into the fire yesterday, and this hotel obtained the BNB license which allows a hotel to run with 6 rooms. However, this hotel was running with 25 rooms even after obtaining the BNB license, which only gives the bandwidth to an owner to run 6 rooms along with a kitchen. However, in this case, the kitchen was being operated from the basement of this building, which is totally illegal and it is restricted by the authorities. However, as you can see this building, there is no window on the front of this building, see there is the front is fully covered with glass, and that is why there was no ventilation and smoke started accumulating in this building, which became one of the major reasons of people getting feared due to this, and they broken these glasses and they started jumping out from the building, and due to this they have sustained major injuries also. And as you can see, there is only one main entrance of this building, where the police tape is currently put up by the Delhi police. That is the main entrance of the building from where the guest entered in that building, and this is the only exit. So there is no other fire exit made by the owner. The rules were completely flouted by this owner. And as you can see, this whole building is a symbol that how all the hotels are escaping the rules. They are not following the norms set by the Delhi government, and in the name of ease of doing business, Delhi Tourism Department is also being corrupted, and they are handing out the B&B licenses like peanuts to these owners, and because of which they are able to float these norms. And
stay with me.
now
I'll
this
just have the
major tragedy
MCD. In fact, we confronted the MCD as well. This was a sequence where the MCD, which is also equally responsible, was asked a few questions. Take a listen.
सर कुछ अभी तक आप लोग क्या इंस्पेक्शन कर रहे हैं? सर आप इंस्पेक्शन करने आए हैं? सर इंस्पेक्शन करने आए हैं आप लोग? हाँ, इंस्पेक्शन। सर क्या जानकारी मिली? सर वीडियोग्राफी की आप लोगों ने? नहीं सर, क्या दायरे हैं सर? जांच के क्या दायरे हैं? अभी तक क्या खामियां समझ आई
सर? चेक कर रहे हैं अभी हमें।
आपको लगता है कि ये लापरवाही हुई है सर? लापरवाही हुई है? लापरवाही रही
सर? लापरवाही किसी की नहीं।
चेक कर रहे हैं। ये 5 कमरों की जगह 25 कमरे बन गए, लाइसेंस लापरवाही 25 कमरे बनाए गए।
वो कर
बोले तो यार,
ऐसा रिपोर्टिंग के बाद बताएंगे, मैं कुछ नहीं कह सकता।
सर लापरवाही ये तो मानते हैं, कम से कम लापरवाही
कर रहे हैं, वो एक्शन हो जाएगा सर उनका।
कार्रवाई होगी सर, कार्रवाई होगी। सर कुछ अभी तक आप लोग क्या इंस्पेक्शन कर रहे हैं? सर आप इंस्पेक्शन करने आए हैं? सर इंस्पेक्शन करने आए हैं आप लोग?
हाँ, इंस्पेक्शन।
सर क्या जानकारी मिली? सर वीडियोग्राफी की आप लोगों ने?
नहीं
सर क्या दायरे हैं सर? जांच के क्या दायरे हैं? अभी तक क्या खामियां समझ आई
सर? चेक कर रहे हैं अभी हमें।
आपको लगता है कि ये लापरवाही हुई है सर? लापरवाही हुई है? लापरवाही रही सर?
सर लापरवाही किसी की नहीं।
चेक कर रहे हैं। ये 5 कमरों की जगह 25 कमरे बन गए, लाइसेंस लापरवाही 25 कमरे बनाए गए।
वो कर
बोले तो यार,
ऐसा रिपोर्टिंग के बाद बताएंगे, मैं कुछ नहीं कह सकता।
सर लापरवाही ये तो मानते हैं, कम से कम
नहीं
लापरवाही
कर रहे हैं, वो एक्शन हो जाएगा सर उनका।
कार्रवाई होगी सर, कार्रवाई होगी।
An eyewitness claims that they dialed the hotel owner, and the hotel owner came to the site but returned in a few minutes and essentially escaped. The hotel owner came, saw the fire, realized he couldn't do anything. Instead of standing there and ensuring the rescue happens, the hotel owner ran. The hotel owner ran from the site. We have the call log as well, where you can see that the hotel owner was dialed, but the hotel owner claims and just ran away. He fled the spot.
भाई इतनी बुरी आग लग गई।
यार वो पाइप मैंने पहले कहा था फाड़ दे। वो जो पाइप था ना फाड़ देते।
अल्लाह रहम रहम रहम, अल्लाह रहम रहम, अल्लाह रहम। कूद गई। अल्लाह रहम रहम रहम। रुका तक नहीं जा रहा भाई, इतनी बुरी आग लग गई।
यार वो पाइप मैंने पहले कहा था फाड़ दे। वो जो पाइप था ना फाड़ देते।
अल्लाह रहम रहम रहम, अल्लाह रहम रहम, अल्लाह रहम, कूद गई, अल्लाह रहम रहम रहम, रुका तक नहीं जा रहा।
Three-day deadline set for the fire report to be submitted. The MCD has been served a notice. Now, these are details coming in. Let me go across to Sarthak. Sarthak, 3 days notice given to the MCD. Now, how culpable is the MCD in this? What are they answerable for? And what's been the response so far?
Well, Niranjan, MCD is completely accountable in this because MCD has to monitor the licenses that are issued to these hotels. They have to make sure that periodic inspections are conducted. While starting such businesses, it's become very important that you have all the licenses in place, and you have to present a file before the MCD officials and before they grant a permission to run these businesses. And after that, once that is done, once you have a valid order from the MCD commissioner that you can run such a business under the BNB scheme, which was established by the Delhi government to support small businesses. Periodic inspection is very important, and this is something that is very randomly done by MCD officials. They would just barge into these premises and they would inspect that everything is in place. They would check the licenses if they continue having the valid licenses or not. But in this particular situation, in this particular case, it seems like none of that was done. No periodic inspections were done, or even if they were done, maybe those officials were bribed, maybe there was some form of corruption involved where they allowed these businesses to just get away doing whatever they were doing, having a BNB license where they were supposed to run not more than 6 rooms, and they were having 26 rooms in the hotel. They were having rooms in the basement, no proper entry and exit point, no contingency plan, no emergency exit, no windows and no ventilation facilities. And they were just making profits out of it. There were most of the people who were living inside the hotel, they were foreign nationals. The 21 people who have died, most of them were foreign nationals. That gives a wrong impression of the hospitality industry of India across the world. So these are several issues that have to come in light, and authorities have to answer that. MCD has to answer that. Therefore, the MCD mayor has passed an order stating that a detailed inspection shall be conducted in this case, and a report has to be filed within 3 days by the MCD commissioner. This is the latest that we are getting, and this comes along the other investigation that is being conducted by Delhi Police, where several sections of BNS have been applied by the Delhi Police on the owner, Lokesh Bajaj. Niranjan.
Okay, thank you for joining us with those inputs. We'll take a short break now, and when we come back, we'll get you the other details. In fact, there are different reports that show that they knew this was going to happen. They knew that most of the hotels and eateries did not have NOCs. Even the court had flagged this issue, especially after the Goa club fire where 26 lives were lost. There was a wake-up call given in Delhi, and yet they did nothing for almost 6 months. Taking a break, we continue to get more details on the story. Stay tuned.
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
सैंडविच, लस्सी और छाछ और
हर घूंट में चमकी चाट। अब बताओ, स्वाद आया? आया।
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चमकी चाट।
Amity has been ranked amongst the top 3% universities globally, a testimony to Amity's globally benchmarked quality.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है? अरे मेरे राजा, मसाला।
I want to start with some very disturbing pictures that have come in of a so-called right-wing leader. His name is Sushil Prajapati. He's accused of rape. After being in jail for 9 months, he gets bail, which means he's still an accused. He's an accused in a rape case. And the case goes back to 2025 when he took an LLB student to one place on the pretext of introducing her to a senior advocate. He drugged her drink and then he sexually assaulted her. He is still under trial for rape. He has not been released. But when he comes out, this rape accused, garlands are put on him as if he's some kind of a hero, as if he's achieved something great. Is a rapist to be celebrated, ladies and gentlemen? I ask you that question. And more than anyone else, I ask the right wing of this country. Very often I come on television and I say, yes, on several issues, I'm happy to be called a right-winger. But ladies and gentlemen, let me put it clearly. You cannot let a person like this man, this Sushil Prajapati, a leader of the Hindu youth.
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
सैंडविच लस्सी और छाछ और
हर घूंट में चमकी चाट, ड्राई फ्रूट और दही बड़े।
चमकी चाट से स्वाद बढ़े।
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चमकी चाट।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
Our pure Shahi Paneer Masala. Delicious, healthy, every day.
In fact, very often I believe the only way to get justice in India is a media trial. So there's no reason for the media, if it's doing a good job of a media trial, to be on the back foot. In fact, the courts should stop making these overarching remarks about media trial and contemplate about one very basic thing. With the greatest of respect to the courts, when the other institutions fail, when people get let down by the system, when even the judiciary does not seem to be listening or raising a noise about issues, like in the case of Twisha Sharma. Who does the public look to for justice, for raising their voice, for bringing something that's utterly false, illegal or wrong to public attention? It is only and only the media. And today, therefore, we are doing a media trial in this specific case, ladies and gentlemen, of Twisha Sharma, the 33-year-old daughter-in-law of an ex-judge, in a case where the ex-judge and the ex-judge's advocate's son appear to be more than involved. Ladies and gentlemen, 15 questions tonight. And if they think it's a media trial, so be it. So be it. Why did the ex-judge in the case of Twisha Sharma, neither she nor her son call a police or an ambulance? What took them 57 minutes to bring the body down? Where are the 3 men who are seen in the video dragging Twisha's body, destroying evidence? What was the police doing? Did they question the house staff? Did they question the judge? Was Twisha carrying headphones in her bag, in her hand, or a rope? Where is it now? Where is that so-called belt that cops claim was used by her to commit suicide? Why was it hidden? The mother-in-law, the ex-judge, walks up calmly while the body is being dragged down and evidence is being destroyed before the judge's eyes. Is that normal? Why don't the judges raise a hue and cry about it? Why don't the appellate courts take up this case suo motu? So people don't start believing that when an ex-judge is concerned, the victim will never get justice. Ladies and gentlemen, what was the ex-judge carrying in her hand when she went down? Where is all the CCTV footage? Did the police collect it? Why did the ex-judge's son, Samarth Singh, escape after bringing the body of his wife to AIIMS? Is it true that the ex-judge's son's medical examination was not conducted? The police station is right behind the ex-judge's Giribala's house. Why was no call made? Why did it take 5 days to file an FIR in the case? Who stalled it? Why was the victim's family attacked in court if there's nothing to hide? And did a very senior police officer go to AIMS that night to try and fudge the post-mortem report? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm asking these questions. Now I ask you, am I right or wrong in asking these questions? And if I don't, who will? Will the government of Madhya Pradesh raise these questions? The Chief Minister doesn't have 30 seconds to meet the victim's family. Will the higher courts of the country raise these questions? So far, I have not seen this case being picked up by the appellate courts, though we are screaming and shouting about it. So I say tonight, what happens when other institutions fail? And if we do a media trial, should we be celebrated and supported for doing so? Was Aravali a media trial? Yes, it was. It was. Thank God for that. Thank God for that media trial which stopped the Aravalis from being destroyed. Was the Pune Porsche case a media trial where innocents were killed by a rich brat and the whole system colluded to give the rich brat a free run? Was it a media trial? I confess it was. Thank God for it. Thank God for that media trial. Was RG Kaur a media trial when the government...
The top headlines today: in a brazen disregard for rules, a big revelation comes to light. The hotel owner in Malviya Nagar fire case only had a license to operate a tea shop. Delhi fire inferno kills 21. The owner admits what Republic flagged. The hotel did not have NOC from the fire department. Malviya Nagar hotel owner Lokesh arrested to be produced in court today. Manhunt on for manager Jay Mishra. Delhi government withdraws policy on bed and breakfast establishments after major fire. All bed and breakfast establishments to be reviewed. A major development now coming in as visuals continue to surface of the tragic fire that broke out in Delhi's Malviya Nagar in a bed and breakfast establishment. Now the visuals are showing eyewitness accounts of when the fire struck the building, a 5-storied building, and these are visuals of the fire when it started completely raging the building all throughout from the first floor up to the many floors that the building had. 5-story building, in fact, and apparently the fire broke out from the basement where the kitchen was operating in this building. Major new visuals continue to emerge. These are eyewitness visual accounts, and major huge smokes continue to smoke out the entire area. Even it's very dark to see. The visibility even reduced because of the smoke from the massive fire that broke out in the building in Delhi's Malviya Nagar. This has risen, the death toll has now risen to 21, and several of them foreign nationals as well. And in tragic turn of events, a full family, a whole family has in fact, who has been residing in this hotel to take care of a medical treatment for one of their family members, has all been killed in this tragic fire that broke out in Delhi's Malviya Nagar. These are some of the visuals that are emerging from the fire that broke out in Delhi's Malviya Nagar, a hotel, bed and breakfast establishments. And as for now, the hotel owner, Lokesh Bajaj, has been arrested and will be produced before the court very shortly. And these visuals show the extent of the damage of the fire and how the fire was raging outside the structure, a 5-story structure. The bed and breakfast establishment, and in all likelihood the bed and breakfast establishment was in fact operating with severe illegally operated rooms, which in fact the permission for the license sought for only 6 rooms and were operating for 25 rooms. And this has been responded back with the Delhi government in a major crackdown to take back. Right in the Delhi fire incident, major breaking news coming in. Now, Delhi government is set to withdraw the bed and breakfast policy after Malviya Nagar fire tragedy. Now, the tourism minister Kapil Mishra, the Delhi government has decided to officially withdraw its bed and breakfast policy and review all the establishments operating under the scheme following the deadly fire at a hotel in South Delhi's Malviya Nagar area. The tourism minister, Kapil Mishra, has confirmed this, and I quote, "We are going to officially withdraw the bed and breakfast scheme, and all establishments licensed under it will be checked." The tourism minister also spoke about it further, saying that action would be taken against operators found violating the terms of the license, and if any establishment registered under the scheme is found running more than 6 rooms, its license will be cancelled. A major crackdown from the Delhi government regarding all of these establishments in the area that were operating under a bed and breakfast license. And the government is saying all of those structures, establishment operating under the license will be reviewed, and if found operating with more than 6 rooms will be cancelled. A major crackdown happening, but the question is that these actions arrive too late. 21 people have been killed in the fire tragedy because of structural lapses, because of license obtained illegally and from corruption, in fact, and these licenses were obtained under the guise of tea shops and permitted for only 6 rooms. Another now breaking news coming in, this one from the Twisha Sharma death case, and Samarth and Giribala are receiving VIP treatment after having been sent to jail. Giribala and Samarth is in the jail hospital. Giribala has been kept in the jail hospital after the custody expired and citing security concerns as well, while Samarth remains there on grounds of injury. And the reports are saying that both the accused, the mother-son duo, are receiving VIP treatment, and raises questions about how inmates are supposed to be treated, those under trial inmates. In fact, both the mother and son are under trial for the death case of Twisha Sharma. And after the custody expired, they have been sent to jail, now receiving VIP treatment. And Giribala, in fact, is in the hospital citing medical conditions. Now I'm joined by my colleague Satya Vijay, who has more information in the story. Satya Vijay, we are getting reports that both the accused, the mother-son duo, Samarth and Giribala Singh, are receiving VIP treatment after being sent to jail. What could be the reason behind that, and why are they being treated differently?
जी हाँ, बिल्कुल। देखिए, त्विषा शर्मा संदिग्ध मौत मामले में चूंकि आरोपी समर्थ सिंह और सह आरोपी गिरिबाला सिंह दोनों को ही न्यायिक हिरासत में जेल भेजा गया है। 14 दिन की ये न्यायिक हिरासत में जेल में है, लेकिन शुरुआत से ही जिस तरह के आरोप त्विषा का परिवार लगा रहा था कि चूंकि गिरिबाला सिंह जज रही हैं, इसलिए वो न्यायिक प्रक्रिया को जो है प्रभावित कर सकती हैं, तो इसकी एक और बानगी या कहें तस्वीर देखने को मिल रही है कि सेंट्रल जेल भोपाल के अंदर आरोपी समर्थ और गिरिबाला को वीवीआईपी ट्रीटमेंट दिया जा रहा है, और इसकी पटकथा पहले ही लिख ली गई थी। जब कोर्ट में गिरिबाला और समर्थ को सीबीआई ने पेश किया था और उन्होंने रिमांड ना लेने की मांग की थी, उस दौरान ही समर्थ के वकील ने भूमिका बना दी थी कि समर्थ के पैर में चोट है, उसको किसी मीडिया कर्मी के पैर से उसका पैर कुचल गया और उसको ट्रीटमेंट नहीं मिल पा रहा है। तो ये भूमिका कोर्ट रूम में ही बना दी गई थी। इसके बाद उन्हें चोट का हवाला देकर मेडिकल वार्ड में रखा गया है। वहीं दूसरी तरफ गिरिवाला सिंह की तरफ से ये दलीलें दी गई थी कि उन्होंने कई ऐसे फैसले सुनाए हैं जिसके आरोपी भोपाल सेंट्रल जेल में ही मौजूद हैं जो सजा काट रहे हैं, तो ऐसे में उनकी सुरक्षा का जो है उनकी जान को खतरा है, इसलिए उन्हें ऐसी जगह रखा जाए जिससे कि वो सुरक्षित रह सकें। तो गिरिवाला सिंह को सुरक्षा और समर्थ को चोट का हवाला देते हुए जेल जाते ही वीवीआईपी ट्रीटमेंट दिया जा रहा है। दोनों को जेल के अंदर जो इमरजेंसी मेडिकल वार्ड बने होते हैं वहां पर रखा गया है।
And Satya Vijay, we are also getting reports that Giribala has been kept in the jail hospital, citing security concerns, even though Samarth, her son, still remains there on the grounds of injury. And what security reasons could be her concern? She is in the jail now.
जी हाँ, बिल्कुल, जैसा कि मैंने बताया कि गिरिवाला सिंह ने ये तर्क दिए थे कोर्ट रूम में जब सीबीआई उन्होंने पेश किया था कि उन्होंने भोपाल में वो डीजे रही हैं और इस दौरान उन्होंने 39 से ज्यादा केस ऐसे हैं जिसमें फैसले सुनाए हैं और इनके जो आरोपी हैं वो भोपाल सेंट्रल जेल में ही मौजूद हैं। ऐसे में अगर उन्हें बाकी कैदियों के साथ, बाकी मुलजिमों के साथ रखा जाएगा तो उनकी जान को खतरा है और इस चीज को कोर्ट ने स्वीकार किया था और इसीलिए उन्हें अलग जगह पर, सेपरेट जगह पर रखने की बात हुई थी। लेकिन यहाँ पर जेल परिसर में जेलर ने जो है उन्हें इस जो मेडिकल वार्ड होता है जहां पर कि 3 से 4 बेड होते हैं उसमें से एक बेड दिया है। दूसरी तरफ समर सिंह के पैर में चोट का हवाला दिया तो उन्हें भी मेडिकल वार्ड में, खंडवा के मेडिकल वार्ड में रखा गया है। तो इस पर सवाल खड़े हो रहे हैं कि आखिर एक आम जो व्यक्ति होता है जिस पर आरोप लगते हैं उसे इस तरह का वीवीआईपी ट्रीटमेंट नहीं दिया जाता, लेकिन यहाँ पर चूंकि गिरिवाला सिंह का काफी बड़ा रसूख है और प्रभावशाली लेडी है तो क्या इसलिए उन्हें इस तरह का वीआईपी ट्रीटमेंट दिया जा रहा है। लेकिन उनकी दलीलें, अगर गिरिवाला और समर्थ की दलीलें उनके जो वकीलों ने कोर्ट में रखी उसके मुताबिक कारण इसके पीछे सुरक्षा और इलाज, 2 कारण बताए गए हैं।
And Satya Vijay, we would also like to know what injury did Samarth exactly suffer, because he is also there on the grounds of an injury, and was there a particular injury that was flagged regarding Samarth?
देखिए, कोर्ट में समर्थ सिंह को जब पेश किया जा रहा था या मेडिकल के लिए जब समर्थ सिंह को ले जाया जाता था तो उस दौरान उसका ये कहना है, समर्थ सिंह के वकील का कोर्ट में ये कहना था कि एक बाइट, जिस तरह से मीडिया के जो पर्सन्स होते हैं रिएक्शंस लेना चाहते हैं, उस दौरान भगदड़ हुई और उसमें एक मीडिया कर्मी का पैर उसके पैर पर रखा गया जिससे उसके पैर में चोट है। और उन्होंने ये भी आरोप लगाए थे कि पुलिस जो है उनका ट्रीटमेंट नहीं करवा रही है, मेडिकल जरूर कराया गया लेकिन पैर के लिए जो स्प्रे होता है वो तक नहीं दिया गया, जिसकी वजह से अब उनको एक्सरे करवाना है। और ये हवाला देते हुए उन्होंने समर सिंह को अलग रखने की बात की थी, मांग की थी, जिसे कि कोर्ट ने स्वीकार कर लिया था। और कहीं ना कहीं लेकिन जिस तरह से जेल में उनको वीआईपी ट्रीटमेंट मिल रहा है कि अलग वार्ड में रखना एक अलग चीज होती है, लेकिन हॉस्पिटल में, चूंकि हॉस्पिटल में सुविधाएं और बेहतर होती हैं, वार्ड से ज्यादा बेहतर होती हैं, तो इसीलिए सवाल खड़े हो रहे हैं कि आखिर इन दोनों को इस तरह का ट्रीटमेंट क्यों दिया जा रहा है।
And also, both the mother and the son, Samarth and Giribala, have they met any visitors? And we want to know, why would an ex-judge who has been sent to jail be received a special treatment and be treated differently than other inmates who are also under trial? Because this sets a very wrong precedent in India's justice system. Well, Satya Vijay. Well, we seem to have lost the connection from our reporter who is tracking all of these details on the ground. But this is the latest that we're tracking. Samarth Singh and Giribala Singh, who have been sent to jail after the custody expired in connection with the Tushar Sharma death case, are now receiving VIP treatment in the jail. And Giribala and Samarth was in the jail hospital, and Giribala has been kept in the jail hospital, citing security concerns, and Samarth also remains there in the jail hospital itself, citing injury. And they are being segregated from the other on the trial who are there in the jail and are apparently now receiving VIP treatment, an ex-judge. And this raises a very serious question and also a wrong precedent for all the people. And viewers, we move on to another story that's happening in Delhi regarding the fire that broke out yesterday. The Delhi government has decided to officially withdraw its bed and breakfast policy and review all establishments operating under the scheme following the deadly fire at a hotel in South Delhi's Malviya Nagar area. Tourism Minister Kapil Mishra, in fact, said that he is going to review the bed and breakfast scheme and officially withdraw the policy, and all establishments that have been licensed under it will be checked. He also said that actions would be taken against operators who are found violating the terms of the license. If any establishment registered under the scheme is found running with more than 6 rooms, its license will be cancelled. This is a big step that has been taken by the Delhi government, and the Delhi government seeks to withdraw the bed and breakfast policy after the tragic Malviya Nagar fire tragedy that killed 21 people, and most of them foreign nationals, as the bed and breakfast policy was found to be operating with many illegal rooms despite being permitted for just 6 rooms. And now the Delhi Tourism Minister has said that all those establishments that are found violating exceeding the room limit of 6 numbers and will be under review, and their licenses will be cancelled. And now we will go to some visuals that are emerging during the incident when the fire broke out. Eyewitness accounts, and these are reflecting eyewitness bites and reflecting of what went down when the fire broke out in Malviya Nagar. Take a look.
भाई बहुत बेकार सर्विस है, फायर ब्रिगेड वालों की बहुत बेकार सर्विस है। हम खुद रस्सियां फेंक फेंक के बंदों को बचा रहे हैं, लेकिन कोई नहीं आया। अब सोच लो, हम सामने वाली बिल्डिंग में रह के हम पर रुका नहीं जा रहा था ऊपर आते में, तो अंदर बेचारे कैसे रुक रहे हैं। भाई बहुत बेकार सर्विस है, फायर ब्रिगेड वालों की बहुत बेकार सर्विस है। हम खुद रस्सियां फेंक फेंक के बंदों को बचा रहे हैं, लेकिन कोई नहीं आया। अब सोच लो, हम सामने वाली बिल्डिंग में रह के हम पर रुका नहीं जा रहा था ऊपर आते में, तो अंदर बेचारे कैसे रुक रहे हैं।
Right, I'm now joined by my colleague Sarthak with more information in this story. Sarthak, these are eyewitness accounts. These are visuals that have been recorded by the people, and they're saying there were no help, there were no rescue. They were trying to rescue by themselves by throwing down ropes and climbing on ladders. So help arrived much late.
Yes, absolutely, Amrita. This is something that we have learned from the locals over here, where they mentioned that the fire took place around 8:10 in the morning. Within 20 minutes, there was the first fire tender that reached at the spot when they received the information. When the Delhi Fire Service received the information, the first fire tender reached at the spot in 20 minutes. However, there was there wasn't enough water with them. There wasn't adequate water with them, due to which they had to return. And then it took them 1 hour. For other fire tenders, there were nearly 10 fire tenders who reached at the spot after an hour, and that is a long time. During that time, the locals over here tried rescuing the people who were stuck inside the hotel. We have the exclusive visuals of that, where we can see they have placed these mattresses on the floor, and people are jumping from the hotel. They are trying to rescue them by throwing ropes. Whatever they could have done in their capacity to make sure that they save as many lives as possible. That the attempts were made by the locals over here. We also had a word with some bystanders who told us that it took more than an hour for the rescue team to reach here, and start rescuing people. By that time already a lot of people had died, a lot of people were critically injured. A lot could have been saved if the rescue department, the fire services had been a little more vigilant, a little more quick in their approach of rescuing people. This is something that we are getting from the view from the locals over here, who are have given their testimony that it was the lapse on the not only on the part of the authorities but also the fire services, the rescue team, due to which these people, some of them suffered critical injuries.
And also there are eyewitness accounts, several bites emerging from the scene when the fire broke out, saying that even the fire services, fire attendants arrived 1 hour late, and there was just one ambulance which arrived 20 minutes, and there was this fire tender that arrived and went back because there was no water to douse the flames. And now, viewers, we have another breaking news coming in from the Delhi fire incident. A big update, the Malviya Nagar fire, where following the arrest of the hotel owner Lokesh Bajaj, the Delhi police are now conducting raids across the various locations in search of the hotel manager Jay Mishra. And in the interrogation, Lokesh Bajaj had said that he in fact deferred the management operations to Jay Mishra, and the hotel manager Jay Mishra is now absconding, and a manhunt is on to search for the missing manager, the hotel manager, who is in fact the police are searching for him, and again named as a major accused, in fact sort of accused in the fire tragedy, as the owner has now been arrested. And with that, we will go back to an exclusive interview that we had at Republic Access with Kapil Mishra, the Delhi Tourism Minister, and he was speaking on the Delhi fire incident earlier. Let's take a listen in.
I should not be naming a particular department, but we all know all those officers who have the responsibility of checking regularly what's going on locally. They need to be held accountable, and their bosses also need to be held accountable. Yeah.
Kapil, we are getting to know that foreign nationals were those who were killed in this entire episode, Kapil. So it's very sorry state. It becomes the national image is also at stake. How do you think that we'll manage that, what happened? Because foreign nationals got killed who came to India for better treatment and they died.
It is very sad and very unfortunate. And definitely there are so many steps that need to be taken as a lesson from this incident. But right now, let's ensure that all those who are injured get proper treatment, and let's wait for the magisterial inquiry report.
Definitely, but as a minister, Kapil, how are you pushing this case forward? How are you tracking this case entirely? Because justice should be delivered fast, because many people got killed, and this is clear negligence. Exit was shut. Even under bread and breakfast scheme, do you think there should be inspection on those even operating 6 rooms? What if their exits are blocked?
So that's why the previous policy has been withdrawn, because there was no mechanism for monitoring and inspection. Under ease of doing business, all those mechanisms were already removed, and it was only an online application. But definitely the person who were running the bread and breakfast, they were required to submit every 15 days a list of guests that are staying there to the local police station.
Okay.
So we have to also see whether they were following that instruction or not.
Okay. That will be a part of the investigation also, Kapil, in this case, that how many people were staying. Because if they used to submit the list of people who were coming to the hotel, then there might be corruption that is involved in the police administration also. That should also be investigated, Kapil, in this case also.
That's why I'm saying we need to wait for the magisterial report. And it's such a sad incident. So many innocent lives have been lost. So time for all of us to also learn our lesson, also ensure proper treatment, also ensure that all other such activities which are taking place across the city, if there are more such establishments are there, we need to lock them down and seal them. And that's why Honorable CM has instructed everyone to find out. All the departments are doing their survey today. Power Minister Ashish Ji has also given the instruction to seal down all such activities. And so government is also taking the precautionary steps right now.
But precautionary steps, Kapil, after the incident happened, after more than 20 people died, can we also break the development? You just spoke that the bread and breakfast scheme has been scrapped. Can we break that news, sir?
It was scrapped a month before. It was not scrapped due to this incident, because when we were reviewing the policy that was initiated during Commonwealth Games, we realized that there are so many gaps in the policy. So the policy is not being withdrawn due to the incident. It was withdrawn a month back, and the new draft of new bread and breakfast policy is already uploaded on the Daily Tourism website for public opinion. So yeah, policy is withdrawn, but not exactly after the incident, but 1 month before the policy was withdrawn.
With that, we come to the end of the bulletin, but we'll be right back with more stories and updates on the other side. Coming up next, in the Malviya Nagar hotel fire incident, hotel owner Lokesh has been arrested to be produced in court today, and manhunt still on for manager Jay Mishra. Coming up next.
प्यास बुझाए ठंडक लाए सबको भाई जीरा से MDH का जलजीरा जीरा से
जीरा से असली रिफ्रेशिंग, असली स्वाद, असली मजा।
Amity has been ranked amongst the top 3% universities globally, a testimony to Amity's globally benchmarked quality.
प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
I want to start with some very disturbing pictures that have come in of a so-called right-wing leader. His name is Sushil Prajapati. He's accused of rape. After being in jail for 9 months, he gets bail, which means he's still an accused. He's an accused in a rape case. And the case goes back to 2025 when he took an LLB student to one place on the pretext of introducing her to a senior advocate. He drugged her drink and then he sexually assaulted her. He is still under trial for rape. He has not been released. But when he comes out, this rape accused, garlands are put on him as if he's some kind of a hero, as if he's achieved something great. Is a rapist to be celebrated, ladies and gentlemen? I ask you that question. And more than anyone else, I ask the right wing of this country. Very often I come on television and I say, yes, on several issues, I'm happy to be called a right-winger. But ladies and gentlemen, let me put it clearly. You cannot let a person like this man, this Sushil Prajapati, a leader of the Hindu Yuva Vahini, a local thug, a man accused of rape, you cannot celebrate his act of rape or celebrate the fact that the rapist is out on bail. If that is the message we want to send to our society, and if all the BJP leaders want to be quiet about it, I want to ask them, why are they quiet about this? Why are they quiet? In the silence of the BJP leaders, is there a tacit support to this person? Is there a feeling that anyone who wears or puts a, proclaims that he is from a so-called Hindu organization, that he will be allowed to get away with absolutely everything, including an act of rape? Is there a feeling that this man, do right-wingers feel, this man, this accused rapist is one of our own? So hence, regardless of what happens, one of our own should never be accused. It's like all those people, those radical Islamists who say that as long as the act of murder or crime of terrorism is carried out by a Muslim, it must be defended. This very thought, ladies and gentlemen, is completely unacceptable. And we need to make the point more strongly because it's not the first time this has happened. This happened in the case of Bilkis Bano. When in Gujarat, the rapists of Bilkis Bano came out, they were greeted with tikas and sweets. And it was happening openly. This was an act of defiance. A manner of saying, so what? It is a Hindu who carried out the act of rape, and hence we will celebrate.
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
आलू चाट या फ्रूट चाट,
स्वाद बनाए चमकी चाट।
क्या बात है? स्वादिष्ट पकोड़े और परेशान, अरे चमकी चाट है इसकी जान।
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चमकी चाट।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, ये तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है? अरे मेरे राजा।
In fact, very often I believe the only way to get justice in India is a media trial. So there's no reason for the media, if it's doing a good job of a media trial, to be on the back foot. In fact, the courts should stop making these overarching remarks about media trial and contemplate about one very basic thing. With the greatest of respect to the courts, when the other institutions fail, when people get let down by the system, when even the judiciary does not seem to be listening or raising a noise about issues, like in the case of Twisha Sharma. Who does the public look to for justice, for raising their voice, for bringing something that's utterly false, illegal or wrong to public attention? It is only and only the media. And today, therefore, we are doing a media trial in this specific case, ladies and gentlemen, of Twisha Sharma, the 33-year-old daughter-in-law of an ex-judge, in a case where the ex-judge and the ex-judge's advocate's son appear to be more than involved. Ladies and gentlemen, 15 questions tonight. And if they think it's a media trial, so be it. So be it. Why did the ex-judge in the case of Twisha Sharma, neither she nor her son call a police or an ambulance? What took them 57 minutes to bring the body down? Where are the 3 men who are seen in the video?
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
A very good afternoon, viewers. You're watching live and breaking on Republic. I'm Tongkham Amrita. In the fire tragedy in Delhi that killed 21 people and most of them foreign nationals, the Delhi government has launched a major crackdown, now saying that the bed and breakfast policy will be rolled back and all of those establishments that have been registered under this policy will be under review, and with even cancellation of licenses if found in violation of the norms. We'll get all the details, but first take a look at the headlines. In a brazen disregard for rules, big revelation comes to light. The hotel owner in Malviya Nagar fire case only had license to operate a tea shop. Delhi fire inferno kills 21. The owner admits the World Republic flagged. The hotel did not have NOC from the fire department. Malviya Nagar hotel owner Lokesh arrested to be produced in court today. Manhunt on for manager Jay Mishra. Delhi government withdraws policy on bed and breakfast establishments after major fire. All B&B establishments to be reviewed. New Trinamool emerges without Mamata. 60 MLAs revolt against Mamata and Abhishek Banerjee. A major update coming in from Delhi with regards to the Delhi fire incident that killed 21 people. The system has now waken up after 21 people have been killed in the deadly fire. Chief Minister convenes meeting of ministers at the Delhi Secretariat. And in this meeting, major discussions will be held on the Malviya Nagar fire tragedy that claimed 21 lives. The main agenda of the meeting is going to be on the preventive measures to avoid similar incidents in the future, a city-wide inspection of hotels, guest houses and commercial establishments, strict verification of no objection certificates, especially fire safety, building and operational clearances, and fixing accountability and strengthening enforcement. In fact, a magisterial inquiry has also been ordered with regards to this tragic fire. And police have arrested the hotel owner as of now and a manhunt on for the manager. Now the question. Right, now I'm joined by my colleague Ishan, right outside of the Delhi Secretariat. The Chief Minister has convened a meeting and the question is, Ishan, is the system waking up too late after 21 lives have been taken by the tragic fire? And now with reports emerging with several lapses at the whole systemic collapse of how these establishments have been given permission to operate.
Absolutely, this is a horrific incident that took place in Delhi where 21 lives were sadly lost, and this comes shortly after the Romeo Birch fire that took place in Goa. Now this entire incident highlighted the fact that most of the establishments operating in Delhi do not have proper clearances, do not have proper certifications and do not have proper licenses. They are circumventing the system using licenses meant for other things such as tea shops, small pan shops, small bed and breakfast, to operate large hotels and large establishments without proper fire clearances, without proper fire safety measures, without proper building safety measures. This endangers the lives of people. This is the way to cut costs. This is a way to ensure that they can operate a hotel or a business without spending a lot of money on the proper safety measures that are required to ensure the safety of the customers and the guests, and they do this to cut down on their costs, and this endangers lives. Now this is a pattern that is being seen across a lot of establishments in Delhi, and now after this tragic incident where 21 people lost their life, the Chief Minister of Delhi, Srimati Rekha Gupta, has convened a high-level meeting with the top ministers, including Ashish Sood and other ministers, in the Secretariat to see what measures can be taken and to ensure that such incidents don't take place in the future, and proper fire NOCs and building clearance NOCs are issued, and a sweeping check has to be made across establishment in Delhi to ensure that such fire safety measures are taken place so that no such incident is repeated in the future. Back to you.
And also, Ishan, this is not just a question of the system waking up after 21 people have been killed. They are saying that this is to prevent a future such similar lapses, such similar incidents. But this whole incident, the fire tragedy in Malviya Nagar, has only highlighted more systemic corruption, because we are getting reports that the permission was obtained for just 6 rooms and also to be operated under a tea shop. And there were no site visits, there were no routine checks. So this only shows the system was sleeping all this time. And when such a big fire has emerged, killing many people and some of them foreign nationals, now the system wants to keep check, although it's welcome, but it has happened too late.
Absolutely. The systematic corruption that was showcased during this entire incident truly reveals the depth and the discourse that needs to be taken place. Now, the building where this hotel was being operated did not have any clearances. No fire official had visited that facility. No building clearance certificate was granted. No use certificate was granted to this particular incident. Now, according to law, there are around 34 certificates and licenses that a hotel needs to operate in New Delhi. Apart from this, there are shop and establishment compliances that ensure that fire safety measures and labor laws are being complied with within the establishment. However, none of these compliances were there. Everything was on paper, and a lot of it was done through misleading the authorities, and the authorities failed to crack down on crack down and check whether these facilities that are operating are actually doing the proper jobs. And this establishment of corruption has been seen, and this pattern has been seen across Delhi. Back to you.
Right, Ishan, thank you so much for joining us. And now we move on to more visuals that are emerging. After the Delhi inferno, which claimed the lives of 21 people and people seen jumping off the roofs to save their lives, multiple eyewitnesses claim have emerged, saying that the fire tenders were too late to arrive. And that has, in fact, endangered more lives. Lives could have been saved if fire tenders arrived on time. Visuals now coming in, eyewitnesses claim coming in, visuals emerge as the stories unfold of the tragic Malviya Nagar fire incident, that the fire tenders arrived very late, in fact 30 minutes late to arrive, and there were also reports that one of the fire tenders turned back because there was no water to douse the fire. That in fact led to the fire burning even more worse and killing the death toll, rising the casualties rising so much more. Let's take a look at the bite of the eyewitness claims.
कितने बजे फायर की पहली गाड़ी आई थी और उसके बाद बाकी की गाड़ियाँ कितनी देर बाद आई?
गाड़ियाँ आगे पीछे आती रही। 8 बजे कॉल होने के बाद करीब 8:30 के आसपास एक छोटी गाड़ी आई थी, बट अगेन उसको लौटना पड़ा था बिकॉज ऑफ सम रीजंस। कुछ लोग बोल रहे हैं कि पानी नहीं था उसके पास। फिर करीब 9 बजे के अराउंड फिर बड़ी गाड़ियाँ आई हैं और हमारे एमएलए हैं सतीश उपाध्याय साहब, उनके आने के बाद काफ़ी कोऑर्डिनेशन हो गया, तो सब चीज़ें बहुत चेंज हो गई थी। तो ओवरऑल देखें तो दिनेश भाई हमारे जो पुलिस बीट ऑफिसर हैं यहाँ पर, वो जो कांस्टेबल हैं दिल्ली पुलिस के, और दमकल की गाड़ियाँ जब आई हैं तो मेन एंट्रेंस जो है वो उन्होंने तोड़ा है, तो और हेल्प हो गई है उससे। थोड़ा कॉम्प्लेसेंट थे वो स्टार्टिंग में कि लेट आए, बट अगेन उनके आने के बाद भी काफ़ी जान बची हैं।
कितना लेट आए थे वो?
अगर छोटी गाड़ी की बात करें शुरू वाली की, तो वो आधा घंटा लेट थी, बाकी बड़ी गाड़ियाँ 1 घंटे में आई थी।
1 घंटे में आई थी। आपको लगता है कि अगर वो थोड़ा टाइम से आ जाते तो काफ़ी लोगों की और जान बचाई जा सकती थी?
टाइम से अगर आ जाते तो और बच सकती थी, बट अगेन लोकल रेस्क्यू ऑपरेशन चल ही रहा था। हम लोग सब फैमिली वाले लोग थे वहाँ पर, वसीम भाई, हम लोग, मंसूर मुस्तकीम भाई, ज़ियाउल हक, हम लोग सभी थे, और लोकल जो भी सामने रहते हैं सब लोग आ गए थे, जैसे जो कर सकता था। विंडो इवन हमने ही तोड़ी है, पत्थर मार मार के उसको, विंडो टूट नहीं रही थी, वो काफ़ी स्ट्रॉन्ग ग्लास था, वो तो टूटा नहीं है। तो उसके बाद गद्दे बिछाए हैं होटल से लाके, अपने घरों से लाके, तो 5th फ्लोर से 4th फ्लोर से एक लेडी अपने बच्चे को लेके भी कूदी है, और फॉर्चुनेटली वो बच भी गई हैं, तो काफ़ी लोग बचे भी हैं उससे। जी,
आधा घंटे से हम लोग सभी लोग हौजरानी के लोग बुझा रहे थे आग, ऊपर से लोगों को कुदा रहे थे। अब आग ने भयंकर रूप ले लिया है। अब आई दमकल की गाड़ी, देखिए 20 मिनट के बाद, जैसे आधा घंटे से हम लोग सभी लोग हौजरानी के लोग बुझा रहे थे आग, ऊपर से लोगों को कुदा रहे थे। अब आग ने भयंकर रूप ले लिया है। अब आई दमकल की गाड़ी, देखिए 20 मिनट के बाद, आधा घंटे से हम लोग सभी लोग हौजरानी के लोग बुझा रहे थे आग, ऊपर से लोगों को कुदा रहे थे। अब आग ने भयंकर रूप ले लिया है। अब आई दमकल की गाड़ी, देखिए 20 मिनट के बाद जब सब कुछ।
And now, viewers, from that we move on to another major story in the death case of Trisha Sharma. The mother-in-law and son, Giribala and Samarth, are now in jail and apparently receiving VIP treatment in jail. The latest that we're getting from this story, Giribala and Samarth has been in the jail hospital, and Giribala has been kept there in the jail hospital and citing security concerns, and Samarth also continues to stay there on the grounds of injury. They remain in the jail hospital, segregated from the other under trials that are in the jail, and they are now under a judicial remand of 14 days, and they will be produced before court again as they undergo their trial. And now the latest that we're getting, they are receiving VIP treatment even in jail. An ex-judge in jail receiving VIP treatment. I'm now joined by our senior editor Rhythm on the broadcast with us. A very good afternoon to you, and thank you for joining us. And my question is, an ex-judge has been in jail and now being segregated from all the other trials. Does this raise the big question on the justice system? Why are they being treated differently?
This is a travesty of Justice Amrita. They needed to understand that this is not the way the law in the country can be manipulated. It is shocking that Giribala Singh did it earlier. She's doing it again. It is shocking. The accused in this case, I would say the absconding husband who was caught by these people, by the police authorities, finally after the media campaign and impact of Republic TV's campaign and coverage, that they are now using the law, the very law, to try and once again get VIP treatment. What happens when a person is taken into judicial custody, like both of them are in, is that they are said that you are going to be in judicial custody. But I do know that she was supposed to be, Giribala Singh was supposed to be prisoner number 71 in the jail, Bhopal jail. She was to be kept away from the others. But she has yet again manipulated the system, used her old age to claim that she is not well, and she's now sitting in the posh luxury of the hospital. Same thing is being done with Samarth, who claims that he's got some injuries. It is a shame that we are letting this happen again. It's a shame that the government is not waking up to the reality. The police authorities are not waking up to the reality, and they are in CBI's remand. They needed to understand that a case that has reached them with the campaign that Republic TV had done should not be met with injustice. I remember the day when Giribala was arrested, the father was jubilant. He felt there was peace for his daughter's soul, Twisha's soul. And today, yet again, when they are seeing this VIP treatment being given to Samarth and Giribala, their hopes are dashed. We have to remember we started the campaign, but no matter what, their hopes should not be dashed in this manner, in this clear favoritism that is being shown to Giribala Singh for the powerful nexus that she had, herself being a former district judge, having connections in the judiciary, having connections in the police, calling the sitting Lokayukt. One of the 44 plus calls that she made was to the sitting Lokayukt. And if it need be, if we need to remind the viewers again about how we reached here only with the die-hard campaign that Republic TV did, then we shall do it again. Because we do remember how Giribala Singh had come out and given interviews right after the death of Twisha Sharma and said she doesn't pray enough, she's not planting the water enough, she's not giving water to the plants enough. She questioned her promiscuity. She made allegations against her. She said she did not want to have the child and therefore she had an abortion. She said that Twisha had changed after marriage, and absconding Samarth Singh was only caught after Republic TV's coverage. He went in the jail, but before that he was absconding. Even in the Jabalpur High Court, Jabalpur District Court, where he chose to appear and submit his surrender, he was then taken to the Bhopal District Court. The way the family was threatened in the Bhopal District Court on the 16th of May, this incident happened on 16th, how they were threatened by Giribala's alleged friends, how they said that people in the court came up to them and told them to take back this case when their daughter had passed away. This is not just another case or not just another VIP treatment being given to a casual accused. This is a very powerful system at work. It's a very powerful lady. The CBI is conducting their investigation. They've not asked for police remand, but judicial custody. And even in that, if we are seeing the VIP treatment being given to them, clearly we don't even know what's happening behind doors. How many doors will Republic TV have to knock for the family? How many times before we tell the father yet again that there is VIP treatment being given in custody to Giribala and Samarth, that they are being kept in the hospital? So many questions. This is negligence once again, and the investigation needs to reach a proper turn.
Right. Thank you so much for joining us on this broadcast, Rhythm, and we'll get back to you shortly for more updates. And now we move on to our colleague in Bhopal who has been tracking the story. Satya Vijay has more on this. Satya Vijay, what's the latest update? Because other than receiving the VIP treatment, which is in fact a big mockery in India's justice system, this also raises doubts over if justice can truly be delivered, because sending to an ex-judge to jail is not enough, because seeing that justice is truly meted out is what is more important.
जी हाँ, बिल्कुल। देखिए, जिस तरह से भोपाल सेंट्रल जेल में गिरिवाला और समर्थ को वीवीआईपी ट्रीटमेंट दिया जा रहा है, इससे कई तरह के सवाल खड़े होते हैं, क्योंकि क्योंकि आम व्यक्ति जब कोई अपराध करता है और उसे जेल भेजा जाता है तो उसे इस तरह का व्यवहार या ट्रीटमेंट उसके साथ नहीं होता है। हालांकि ये बात सही है कि गिरिबाला और समर्थ के वकील ने कोर्ट में अपनी जो बात रखी थी उसमें उन्होंने कहा था कि चूंकि गिरिबाला जज रही हैं और उन्होंने कई ऐसे फैसले सुनाए हैं और उसमें जो आरोपी हैं जो सजा काट रहे हैं वो जेल में, तो उनकी सुरक्षा को खतरा है, इसलिए उन्होंने सेपरेट रखने की बात की थी, मांग की थी, जिसे कोर्ट ने माना था। समर्थ सिंह के लिए भी उन्होंने यही दलीलें दी थी, उनके वकील ने चोट का हवाला दिया था। लेकिन जेल के अगर आप स्ट्रक्चर को समझें तो सेपरेट रखना अलग चीज होती है और जेल के हॉस्पिटल में रखना अलग चीज होती है। हॉस्पिटल में उन लोगों को रखा जाता है जिनकी तबीयत खराब है, लेकिन गिरिबाला के साथ ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं था। उन्होंने सुरक्षा का हवाला दिया था, तो ऐसे में उन्हें किसी ऐसे वार्ड में रखा जा सकता था जहां पर कि कुछ कैदी हों, लेकिन हॉस्पिटल जो है वहां का जो मेडिकल इमरजेंसी वार्ड वहां का है उसमें बाकायदा अगर हम आपको बताएं तो बेड होता है, फैन होता है, इस तरह की सुविधाएं होती हैं। तो ये VIP ट्रीटमेंट आखिर इनको क्यों दिया जा रहा है, ये सवाल खड़ा होता है। और जैसा कि शुरुआत से इस केस में ये सामने आ रहा था कि गिरिबाला सिंह काफी प्रभावशाली लेडी है, कई प्रभावशाली लोग उनसे जुड़े हुए हैं, जुडिशरी से वो जुड़ी रही हैं, तो केस को कमजोर करने की बात या आरोप उन पर लगते रहे थे। और अब सेंट्रल जेल भोपाल में जिस तरह से उन्हें जो ट्रीटमेंट दिया जा रहा है इसको लेकर भी कई तरह के सवाल खड़े हो रहे हैं।
And also, Satya Vijay, the question is who allowed this, because they have cited health reasons and security concerns to stay in the hospital jail. So are they planning to stay there until the end of the whole judicial remand time period?
हाँ जी, यहाँ देखिए 14 दिन की न्यायिक हिरासत में गिरिबाला और समर्थ सिंह हैं और इस न्यायिक हिरासत के दौरान उन्हें जेल में ही रहना है और जेल में जो व्यवस्थाएं होती हैं उसका पूरा प्रभार जो है जेल अधीक्षक के पास होता है। कोर्ट में जो दलीलें दी गई थी उसमें सुरक्षा का और इंजरीज का जिक्र किया गया था, सेपरेट रखने की बात की गई थी, लेकिन जेल में अब उन्हें हॉस्पिटल में क्यों रखा गया इसको लेकर सवाल खड़े हो रहे हैं। तो जाहिर तौर से जो जेल प्रशासन है, जेल DG, जेल ADG, इनसे भी सवाल, इन पर भी सवाल खड़े होते हैं कि क्या किसी प्रभाव में आकर इन्होंने इस तरह से उन्हें हॉस्पिटल में रखने की व्यवस्था की है।
Right. Thank you so much for joining us, Satya Vijay. We'll get back to you shortly for more updates. And now, viewers, we move on to another story. A big update now, viewers, coming in from West Bengal. Now, the BJP have protested against expelled TMC leader Sandipan Saha. Posters have also been raised that reads "Chor cut money." A big protest now coming in from West Bengal against TMC expelled leader Sandipan Saha. Poster campaign also being carried out in Bengal, and this is regarding the cut money that even Republic accessed and was exposed of the cut money that took place many years ago. Recently, that happened over a long period of time in West Bengal, and now posters now being put up against Sandipan Saha, and a BJP also held a protest against them, visiting outside of his residence, and posters are that reads "Chor cut money" against TMC leader Sandipan Saha. I'm now joined on the phone line by my colleague Kishle from Kolkata. Kishle, why would the BJP protest outside of a TMC expelled leader regarding the cut money? Well, Kishle, if you're on the line, I would like to know what is the reason behind the BJP holding a protest behind a TMC expelled leader. Sandipan Saha has been expelled, and now there are posters coming up against him, protesting against him regarding the cut money and calling him Chor also. We seem to have lost my colleague. We will try to get patched very shortly. And these are the latest that we're seeing. These are visuals, in fact, of people, BJP protesters carrying posters and slogans even raised saying chore, cut money. This is a big protest happening, a political shift after the big political shift in West Bengal. BJP protesters now protesting against the expelled TMC leader Sandipan Saha. And this is coming after visuals have emerged of a cut money of the benefactors taking back their cut money being distributed back. And this is a large protest being organized outside of his residence in his constituency, in fact. And Sandipan Saha, the expelled TMC leader, this is coming amidst a big turmoil within the TMC itself, as a big faction has even broken ranks from the TMC away from Mamata Banerjee and Abhishek Banerjee. And now a new leader of opposition being in place in the West Bengal Assembly, and a big protest now being held, even animals used for this, with posters of Sandipan Saha and calling him chore on the cut money issue. Right, these are the latest that we have from West Bengal, the latest development as political turmoil begins to churn, continues to churn in West Bengal. BJP workers have assembled in a big protest against Sandipan Saha, who is an expelled TMC leader's posters raised even regarding a cut money and regarding bribe money, in fact, that they claim that was taken by TMC leaders in exchange for opportunities, beneficiaries and even jobs. And we are now, in fact, joined by, on the phone line by my colleague Kishle. Kishle, I would like to know, why is this protest taking place right now?
Right now, as we speak, there is a protest outside this TMC MLA's house, Sandipan Saha's house, and he is the son of Swarno Kamal Saha, who was also an TMC MLA. Now, the reason of the protest is there are several allegations against Sandipan Saha, including intimidation, including taking cut money, including taking money for providing service and schemes to the people of West Bengal and people of his constituency. So the common people, along with the BJP leaders, local BJP workers, have now organized themselves outside his residence. They are holding a protest, and this is not new. We saw a similar situation at Kosba, where there were protests against Trinamool councillors and Trinamool MLAs as well. There were protests against Javed Khan at several points. There were protests against Sushanto Saha. There were protests against other TMC MLAs and councillors. All these TMC MLAs, councillors have allegations on them. Most of them have allegations of taking cut money from the common people, and in lieu of which they used to provide beneficial schemes to the people of their constituency, which the people deserve to get for free. They used to take money for that. So posters out there in front of Sandipan Saha's house, and BJP workers and leaders, along with common people protesting against him. This is after a day when the TMC, the new bloc of the TMC, including Sandipan Saha, declared themselves the real TMC in the West Bengal Assembly, and he's a part of that TMC bloc of Ritobroto Banerjee. He also wrote a letter to the speaker against Abhishek Banerjee, Bhaipo Abhishek Banerjee. But even after that, he is right now right now there are protests outside his house, and these are BJP workers, BJP leaders asking their money back. They are saying that the money that he has taken as cut money in lieu of providing service to the people of his constituency, that money needs to be returned. Otherwise, police needs to take action against him. That is the demand that they are putting forward. Also, there are placards and posters in their hand saying that chore Sandipan Saha, which means Sandipan Saha is a thief and he has to return the money that he has taken at a point of time.
Right, and Kishle would also like to know, help us understand why only Sandipan Saha has been targeted when now as a new political turmoil emerges within the Trinamool Congress, as they have broken ranks from the Mamata Banerjee, Abhishek Banerjee faction also.
He is the one, along with Ritobroto Banerjee, who wrote a letter to the speaker saying that there were forged signatures of TMC MLAs by Bhaipo Abhishek Banerjee and his gang. So he is one of the key persons who decided on dividing themselves away from the TMC that was led by Bhaipo Abhishek Banerjee. But in spite of that fact, yesterday we saw the press conference, Shondipon Saha was present. He is the son of a long-time TMC loyalist and TMC MLA, Swarno Kamal Saha. All of them used to take cut money according to these allegations. They used to take cut money, and in return of that cut money, they allowed people to build their homes. They allowed promoters to build their buildings and all, and also provided beneficiary schemes. So this is the situation right now, and they are demanding the arrest of the TMC MLA Shondipon Saha.
Right, thank you so much for joining us, Kishle, and we'll get back to you very shortly. And with that, we come to the wrap and end of this bulletin. We will be back with more stories lined up on the other side. Coming up next, new Trinamool emerges without Mamata Banerjee. 60 MLAs revolt against Mamata and Abhishek Banerjee.
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
सैंडविच लस्सी और छाछ
हर घूंट में चमकी चाट। अब बताओ स्वाद आया? आया।
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चमकी चाट।
Amity has been ranked amongst the top 3% universities globally, a testimony to Amity's globally benchmarked quality.
Our pure Shahi Paneer Masala. Delicious, healthy, every day.
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
सैंडविच लस्सी और छाछ
हर घूंट में चमकी चाट। ड्राई फ्रूट और दही बड़े। चमकी चाट से स्वाद बढ़े।
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चमकी चाट।
I want to start with some very disturbing pictures that have come in of a so-called right-wing leader. His name is Sushil Prajapati. He is accused of rape. After being in jail for 9 months, he gets bail, which means he's still an accused. He's an accused in a rape case. And the case goes back to 2025 when he took an LLB student to one place on the pretext of introducing her to a senior advocate. He drugged her drink and then he sexually assaulted her. He is still under trial for rape. He has not been released. But when he comes out, this rape accused, garlands are put on him as if he's some kind of a hero, as if he's achieved something great. Is a rapist to be celebrated, ladies and gentlemen?
The top headlines today: in a brazen disregard for rules, a big revelation comes to light. The hotel owner in Malviya Nagar fire case only had license to operate a tea shop. Delhi fire inferno kills 21. The owner admits what Republic flagged. The hotel did not have NOC from the fire department. Malviya Nagar hotel owner Lokesh arrested to be produced in court today. Manhunt on for manager Jay Mishra. Delhi government withdraws policy on BNB establishments after major fire. All BNB establishments to be reviewed. New Trinamool emerges without Mamata. 60 MLAs revolt against Mamata and Abhishek Banerjee. Viewers, a big update coming in from the New Delhi fire incident. The system just woke up after 21 people have been killed in a major fire tragedy. The Chief Minister has convened a meeting of ministers at the Delhi Secretariat with regards to the Delhi fire tragedy that claimed 21 lives. A big structural lapses in obtaining of permissions as well. The latest that we're getting, where the Chief Minister Rekha Gupta has in fact convened a meeting of ministers at the Delhi Secretariat to look into the Malviya Nagar fire tragedy that claimed 21 lives, the latest that we are getting from the government side, as a big action has been taken up regarding a crackdown of the B&B establishments as well. This is after that order. Now the Chief Minister has convened a high-level meeting there at the Delhi Secretariat to be presided by the Chief Minister. And this is the latest, as the Delhi government has now taken steps to prevent such future tragedy from happening. And now, with reports emerging, there have been many structural lapses, and this is not just one or two structural lapses, but from the obtaining of such permissions, because now we're getting reports that NOC has not been obtained by the particular building that caught the fire, and the building had in fact violated norms from the 6 rooms that was permitted to 26 rooms, and there was not many openings that led to more casualties in this particular fire. And now the Delhi Chief Minister, taking cognizance of this tragedy, has convened a meeting at the Delhi Secretariat. And now, viewers, the latest that we're getting: Republic confronts MCD officers reaching on site of the fire for inspection. MCD officials visited the site of the fire today. Republic confronted the officials, and well, there was a big questions that was asked, and they deflected and gave no response. Let's take a listen in to the confrontation with our Republic reporter. The latest from the Delhi fire incident, and a big question why the MCD could not respond to some of the major questions. Republic in fact confronted the MCD officials who was visiting the site after the fire broke out in Malviya Nagar in Delhi. And now let us take a look at the incident that happened on the ground.
सर कुछ अभी तक आप लोग क्या इंस्पेक्शन कर रहे हैं? सर आप इंस्पेक्शन करने आए हैं? सर इंस्पेक्शन करने आए हैं आप लोग? हाँ, इंस्पेक्शन। सर क्या जानकारी मिली? सर वीडियोग्राफी की आप लोगों ने? नहीं सर, क्या दायरे हैं सर? जांच के क्या दायरे हैं? अभी तक क्या खामियां समझ आई सर? चेक कर रहे हैं अभी हमें। आपको लगता है कि लापरवाही हुई है सर? लापरवाही हुई है? लापरवाही रही सर? लापरवाही किसी की नहीं। चेक कर रहे हैं सर। पांच कमरों की जगह 25 कमरे बन गए। लाइसेंस लापरवाही 25 बनाए गए। वो कर बोले दो यार। ऐसा रिपोर्टिंग की बात बताएंगे, मैं कुछ नहीं कह सकता। सर लापरवाही ये तो मानते हैं, कम से कम लापरवाही कर रहे हैं, वो एक्शन हो जाएगा सर उनका। कार्रवाई होगी सर, कार्रवाई होगी।
All right, now my colleague Ishan has now joined online, and we're going back to the meeting that has been convened by the Chief Minister, a high-level meeting to review on major structural lapses that occurred in the fire tragedy in Malviya Nagar. Now, Ishan, coming to you, what are some of the top agenda that will be discussed in this meeting?
See, this meeting is being held by Chief Minister Rekha Gupta after the tragic incident at Malviya Nagar. Now, the meeting was held and 13 major decisions have come out from the meeting. The most important of them is the formation of joint teams where the DCP, MCD, Delhi Police and Tourism Department will do a 30-day intensive check across Delhi with most hotels, coaching centers, nursing homes, everything where people can be there. Now, all of this will be done because the incident highlighted structural lapses and a lot of lapses during the checking, that there were no licenses with the hotel, there were no permissions availed by the hotel, and all of this was being operated in an illegal manner. Now, the information that was given to the fire department that this will be a small hotel with 4 or 5 rooms, a small tea stall, but a massive, large hotel was operating in its place, and this is the reason why so many people perished. The fire safety norms were not followed, no fire safety equipment was present. And even the response of the Delhi Fire Department has come into question, where a lot of information has been coming that one of the fire tenders that arrived at the location did not have sufficient water to fight the fire. Now all of this has been taken into account during this meeting, and now it is being showcased that these 13 points that have been discussed and will be implemented in the coming next 30 days, that these joint teams that are being formed will do a crackdown and do a thorough check of all licenses, all safety measures and all building norms that are being followed across nursing homes, across hotels, across eateries, coaching centers, anywhere where there is a large public gathering. These checks will be carried out by this joint team that is being formed by the Delhi government.
And also, Ishan, with the bed and breakfast policy being rolled back by the Delhi government, and also with this crackdown that will be taking place for 30 days, what can we expect? Will there be licenses cancelled where there are violations? And also, what about fixing accountability? Because some of the officials have given these licenses to these establishments. And what about fixing accountability when such a tragic incident has occurred in the heart of Delhi?
Absolutely, the Joint Magisterial Committee has been formed to check what were the lapses that had happened, and now we will be checking what is the primary reason behind this incident, and accountability will be fixed by this Magisterial Committee that has been formed to investigate into the matter in a deep manner. Apart from that, the BNB policy that Delhi had was very lenient, and it allowed almost anybody to use any property, even residential properties, to be used as bed and breakfast, and this was done in a way to promote tourism and provide cheap stays and about sustainable income to a lot of people. Now the scrapping of this policy will some way or the other affect the livelihoods of people who have now become dependent on these bed and breakfast, but this is a necessary step because none of the safety norms were being followed, especially the fire safety norms that should have been there were not being followed. There were no proper exits, there were no proper fire safety doors, or there were no materials even used in these places are substandard, and a lot of times are just residential homes that are being lent out to people for short stays. Now this although provided
yes, Ishan, thank you so much for those details, and we'll get back to you shortly. We have a major breaking news again coming in now from Hyderabad. Another fire broke out now in Hyderabad in a shopping complex in Amirpet in Hyderabad. The massive fire accident occurred on the Amirpet main road. The flames have engulfed the entire building housing a shop, a KSR Fashions, a clothing store situated directly on the main road near Maitri Vanan was also destroyed, completely gutted, and the entire building is burning from top to the bottom. This is a 3-story building. It is being reduced to ashes from the fire, and the area surrounding this building is densely packed with various establishments as well, including hotels, restaurants, computer stores also, and mobile phones, a big commercial hub now that happened near the main road. And upon receiving immediate information about the incident, fire department personnel responded and police have rushed to the spot. Now measures are being taken to prevent the fire from spreading to adjacent areas. And also, we have this report that after the information was received about the fire department personnel and police officials rushed to the site, rescue operations being conducted and measures being taken to douse the fire and to prevent the spread of the fire. And this is another major fire incident that happens now from Hyderabad. I'm now joined by my colleague Aishwarya from Hyderabad, who has more details in the story. Aishwarya, we were just witnessing a tragedy in Delhi, a big fire that gutted a hotel, killing many people. Now another fire has taken place in Hyderabad, this in a shopping complex that we're getting. What's the latest? How did the fire start about?
Well, a major fire accident also is being reported just a few minutes ago in Hyderabad as well, in a major shopping complex that is the KSR Fashions. And Amirpet, in the heart of the city in Amirpet, where all the shops, all the hotels, all the restaurants are situated in a largely closed quarters. And now the police is trying to reduce the fires so that it will not spread across to the adjacent shops, which will cause even more damage. So the major thing the police are here to determine is the cause of the fire, the casualties, and also they are and the precaution that they are taking so that the fire does not move to the adjacent shops, and only the building where the fire has been caught, that is a shopping complex, and the fire should be stopped and curtailed inside the 3-story building only. That they are trying to determine what is the cause of the fire, and they have said that once the fire has been doused off, that only then they will know what is the cause behind the sudden fire, the sudden massive fire that has been broken in this particular shopping complex. One of the major reasons they are also saying is the massive heat. Because as you know, IMD had declared a heat wave in Telangana, and this is one of the minor causes that is being put forth because of this fire. But does the shopping complex have proper fire exit? Does it have a fire management? And even the fire control equipment inside the shopping complex is something that will also be investigated from the police hand. But now we are yet to see the cause of the fire, the casualties, as well as the precaution taken by the police, so that the fire that has been broken out on one shopping complex will not move to the adjacent shops in Amirpet.
And also, Aishwarya, could you tell us a bit more on the casualties? Were there any reports of any casualties that have been hurt or injured severely, has been medicated or under hospital, at the hospital? Any casualties in this fire incident?
As of now, there's no casualties reported from this fire accident, is what we are also learning. But since they are still dousing the fire, we are yet to determine how much of how casualties or even the number of injuries that are number of people who are injured, who are under critical condition, or maybe even dead. These are the casualties is yet to be determined by the police.
All right, thank you so much for all of those details, Aishwarya, and we'll get back to you when there are more updates, and we'll track the story as it happens. And now, viewers, we move on to another top story. Venezuelan interim president Delcy Rodriguez meets Prime Minister Modi today in a crucial 5-day visit with a focus on energy and investment between the two nations. A major agenda of the talks will be on oil, as India looks to diversify its oil import sources amid the uncertainty in West Asia region, putting a big chokehold on the Strait of Hormuz. The interim President Delcy Rodriguez from Venezuela is on a 5-day visit to India. Is meeting with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. There will be many talks on the agenda today regarding investment, energy, renewable energy, especially focusing on oil, as India seeks to buy oil from Venezuela as the Strait of Hormuz continues to be blocked amid the uncertainty in the West Asian region. Delcy Rodriguez now meeting with the Prime Minister, and talks will be held. This is a big energy diplomacy also for India, securing India's oil, India's energy, India's fuel, and India is also looking to diversify the sources of oil now after the West Asian region has put a very strong chokehold in the Strait of Hormuz. The region continues to remain blocked, and India continues to diversify its imports, as India imports in fact 90% of its oil from other countries, and with many measures being taken up to sustain and absorb the shocks falling out from the region in the war in West Asia. India continues to seek such diplomacy and secure India's energy. And viewers, moving on, the owner of the hotel Flourish Stay B&B in Malviya Nagar Lokesh Bajaj, who had been absconding since the devastating blaze, has finally been arrested by the Delhi police. Investigators allege that the building was operating far beyond its licensed capacity with illegal rooms, locked exits and serious fire safety violations, turning it into a death trap. As families mourn the loss of loved ones, many of them foreign nationals, the focus is now firmly on accountability, negligence and a chain of failures that led to one of Delhi's deadliest fire disasters in recent years. Take a look.
पर कैसी मतलब ना तो पुलिस आई है ना भी दमकल गाड़ी आई है, सिर्फ एम्बुलेंस आई है। एम्बुलेंस क्या करेगी? यहाँ आग बुझाने का काम है। तो ये देखिए कितनी भयानक आग लगी है और दमकल की गाड़ी अभी तक नहीं आई, कम से कम 20 मिनट से ऊपर हो गया है।
The fire at Malviya Nagar's Flourish Stay Hotel engulfed 21 lives, out of which 17 were foreigners. The main question is, when the fire started in the morning 8:30 a.m., where was the fire brigade? Where was the administration?
अब आई दमकल की गाड़ी, देखिए 20 मिनट के बाद जब सब कुछ तबाह हो गया तब आ रही है गाड़ी।
और सबसे पहले हम लोग ही पहुंचे थे सर, तो यहाँ पे एक गद्दे की दुकान है और ये पूरी जल रही थी, तो हमने गद्दे बिछा दिए थे सब लोगों ने। तो जितने फॉरेनर्स ऊपर से कूदे, इमीडिएटली फायर फाइटिंग की टीम आ गई थी, दिल्ली पुलिस आ गई थी। नीचे गए, नीचे से हमने पेशेंट को निकाला। मोस्टली फॉरेनर पेशेंट थे वहाँ पे, सीढ़ियों पे, बाथरूम में, जहाँ मिल सकता था वहाँ से हम लोगों ने उठाया। तो ज्यादातर लोग अनकॉन्शियस।
आधा घंटे से हम लोग सभी लोग हौजरानी के लोग बुझा रहे थे आग, ऊपर से लोगों को कुदा रहे थे। अब आग ने भयंकर रूप ले लिया है।
आवाजें आ रही थी रोने की और हेल्प हेल्प, क्योंकि जो टफन गिलास था इनका खुल नहीं रहा था और मेन इनका गेट जो था वो इलेक्ट्रॉनिक था, वो रात में ही बंद कर देते हैं। वो इलेक्ट्रॉनिक जैसे आग लगी इलेक्ट्रिसिटी इनकी कट हो गई, तो उसकी वजह से इनका जो है मेन गेट जो था वो ब्लॉक था, कोई बाहर निकलने का रास्ता नहीं था। तो जहाँ मेन ग्राउंड फ्लोर पे, फर्स्ट फ्लोर पे इनकी आग लगी थी, ऊपर वाले जो सेकंड फ्लोर, थर्ड फ्लोर और फोर्थ फ्लोर के बंदे थे वो कोई निकल नहीं पाया। फिर नीचे से ही हमने ईंटें मार के, पत्थर मार के वो शीशे तोड़े थे। सेकंड फ्लोर से तो 2 बंदे जो इंडियन थे वो कूद गए थे, लेकिन उनके चोट लगी थी। फिर हमने क्या करा, लेमन ग्रीन होटल से जाके हम गद्दे निकाल के लाए। वहाँ आसपास के जितने भी होटल हैं सबसे गद्दे इकट्ठे करके वो नीचे रखे। तो थर्ड फ्लोर से फिर उन्होंने जंप करना शुरू करा, जो वो फॉरेनर थे उनकी जंप कराया। फिर जंप कराएंगे, फोर्थ फ्लोर जो था वहां से वो जंप कर नहीं पा रहे थे। फिर हम सामने बिल्डिंग में जाके फिर हमने रस्सा डाला था, रस्सा बांध के ऊपर रस्सा डाला था। लेडीज वो रस्से पे आई भी थी, लेकिन वो रस्सा छूट गया उनसे, वो नीचे गिर गई।
The hotel owner behind this horror, Mr. Lokesh Bajaj, is now finally under Delhi police custody.
गाड़ी अभी तक नहीं आई दमकल की। गद्दे उठा, उठाओ इसको उठाओ, इसको उठाओ। ये देखो लोग कूद रहे ऊपर से, मगर अभी तक कितना ढीला काम है कि अभी तक दमकल की गाड़ी नहीं आई है।
राधा रानी
और भी है क्या? और देख लो, और है।
And moving on, another tragedy unfolded in Bihar's Muzaffarpur in the early hours today after a massive fire broke out at Prasad Hospital. The blaze reportedly started in the intensive care unit, triggering panic among patients and hospital staff. Several fire engines rushed to the spot and a large-scale rescue operation was launched. The district magistrate has confirmed multiple fatalities while several patients were safely evacuated. Our correspondent brings you this report from the ground. Take a look.
A massive fire broke out at Prasad Hospital on Juran Chhapra Road number 3 in Muzaffarnagar, Bihar around 3 a.m. on Thursday, sending panic through the healthcare facility. Though smoke engulfed parts of the hospital after fumes reportedly erupted inside the intensive care unit, where several critically ill patients were currently undergoing treatment. As the fire spread, emergency services rushed into action. Multiple fire tenders were deployed on the scene. while firefighters, police personnel, hospital staff worked together to evacuate patients trapped inside the building. After hours of firefighting operation, the tragedy claimed the lives of 4 people. Reacting to the tragedy, Bihar Chief Minister Samrat Chaudhary expressed deep sorrow over the loss of lives and extended condolences to the bereaved families. The Chief Minister also announced an ex gratia compensation of 4 lakh rupees each to the next of those who died in the fire. The state government has assured all possible assistance to the affected families. Preliminary reports suggest that a short circuit may have triggered the blaze, although the officials have not yet confirmed the exact cause. Authorities have promised strict action if negligence or violation of safety norms are found during the probe.
Now moving on to some of the top global stories. Abelardo Espriella, far-right lawyer and businessman who calls himself the Tiger, has emerged as a leading candidate in Colombia's 2026 presidential election. He topped the first round with 44% vote and will face leftist Senator Iván Cepeda in the runoff on June 21st. A strong Trump supporter who has received a full endorsement from the U.S. president, Abelardo represents a radical shift towards hardline anti-crime politics in Latin America. Watch this report.
Abelardo de la Espriella is not just a lawyer. He is also a successful businessman with lifestyle brands, owns properties in Miami and Florence. He represents a shift to more radical far-right politics in Latin America, aligned with Trump, Bukele, Milei, etc.
Estamos defendiendo la democracia y la libertad de Colombia. Es la batalla más importante en la historia republicana y vamos a ganar en primera vuelta para derrotar a la tiranía y derrotar a los de siempre.
Big breaking news coming in again from Hyderabad as a massive fire breaks out in a shopping complex in Amirpet in Hyderabad. The massive fire accident that occurred on the Amirpet main road in a commercial hub. The flames have engulfed the entire building housing. KSR Fashions, which is a clothing store situated directly on the main road near Maitrivanam. The entire building is now burning from top to bottom, and this is a 3-story building that is being reduced to ashes. The area surrounding this building is densely packed with various establishments, including hotels, restaurants, computer stores as well. And now measures are being implemented as well to prevent the fire from spreading to the adjacent areas. And upon receiving immediate information about the incident, fire department and police officials rushed to the spot and are now trying to douse the fire, and they are currently taking measures to prevent the spread of the fire in nearby areas. Officials have stated that the intensity of the fire is particularly severe because the KSR Fashion store is stocked entirely with clothing materials, and that in fact raised the temperature a lot worse, including a heat wave that's been happening in Telangana recently. The latest that we're getting: a massive fire in Hyderabad. Well, these are live visuals that we're tracking from the ground as firefighters and police personnel continue to douse the fires in the massive fire that happened at a shopping complex. And these are fires from moments ago where the fire in fact engulfed the whole building, a 2-story building, a commercial hub. Now I'm joined by these are the visuals that we're tracking. A big massive fire that took place in Hyderabad. Now I'm joined by my colleague Aishwarya, who has more details in this fire story. Aishwarya, we are seeing that the fire incident was taking place in a commercial hub, in a clothing store, and even was particularly serious because of how there were many clothing that was packed inside of the store as well. Give us more details as to how it particularly caught fire and it raised to such a big degree, charring the building. Okay, Aishwarya. Right, Aishwarya, could you tell us about how the fire started and what are being done right now and what's the status as of now?
Well, you can see right behind me, they are still trying to douse the fire. Though the entire fire has been doused to an extent, there is still the smoke that is still prevalent here, and that is what the fire extinguishers are trying to douse. The fire first started at one of the helmet store where you can see the imported helmets, Helmet Bazaar. That is the shop where the fire initially began, and it spread across the entire building, which is the 3-4-story building. That is a KLM fashion complex, shopping complex, where all kinds of shops, including the clothing shops, are present in this entire complex. And if you can see, only this one particular building has completely been gutted, because this is where the clothes were kept, and that is the reason the entire shop, particular clothes shop was gutted. And it initially started from the Helmet Bazaar, one of the helmet shops, and it spread across to the entire 3-story building, is what the police have here confirmed. Luckily, there are no casualties reported until now, because when a small stroke of fire started at the Helmet Bazaar, all the shopkeepers and all the staff inside the complex came running out and alerted the police, and that is the reason no casualties or no injuries have been reported until now. And the police and the traffic, the disaster management and the police, everybody is present here trying to even mediate between because this is a very busy street, so they are trying to manage between the traffic and to douse the fire, because an entire area of almost 1 kilometer is spread with smoke, and we can feel smoke in the air as well. So if the fire was very huge, is what the police have also said, and burning an entire shopping complex housing several shops. So they have tried to combat the fire not spreading to other buildings, which is also having several other shops, housing several other shops, and they have stopped it in this particular building only. And you can see that there are almost 3 to 4 fire extinguisher vehicles that are here, fire vehicles that are here, and they are trying to douse the fire. For now, there are no casualties reported, because when the fire initially began, it was very small in an Helmet Bazaar, and that was at that time all the shopkeepers and the staff and even the customers ran out of the shop, and that is the reason there was no casualties reported, is what the police have told clearly. But they are yet to determine why where and when the fire began. What was the reason behind it? Is it a short circuit,
right,
or is it something else? Is something?
Right. Thank you so much for those details, Aishwarya, and we will be getting in touch very shortly as there are updates. But now we are going to slip into a very short break, and we will track more on the story live from Hyderabad as a massive fire engulfed in a shopping complex, a densely populated shop complex in Hyderabad, and police personnel and fire tenders now trying to douse the fire. Coming up next.
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो, मिलाओ और खाओ, 8 मिनट में तैयार। क्या टेस्ट है, सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
In fact, very often I believe the only way to get justice in India is a media trial. So there's no reason for the media, if it's doing a good job of a media trial, to be on the back foot. In fact, the courts should stop making these overarching remarks about media trial and contemplate about one very basic thing. With the greatest of respect to the courts, when the other institutions fail, when people get let down by the system, when even the judiciary does not seem to be listening or raising a noise about issues, like in the case of Twisha Sharma, who does the public look to for justice, for raising their voice, for bringing something that's utterly false, illegal or wrong to public attention? It is only and only the media. And
from Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
Hello and welcome viewers. We've got some breaking news coming in right now from Hyderabad. Massive fire, in fact, has broken out in a shopping complex in Ameerapet. A massive fire accident has occurred on the main road. In fact, the flames have engulfed the entire building housing KSR Fashions. A clothing store is situated directly on the main road near Methi Vietnam area. Now, the entire building is burning, in fact, from top to bottom. It's a 3-story building which has caught fire. And at the moment, efforts are on to douse the flame. In fact, we'll try and get you the visuals on your screen right now, showing you how the shopping complex, in fact, has been charred by this massive fire that's engulfed the entire complex in Hyderabad area right now. Now, as you can see, efforts are on to douse the fire right now. And it's a breaking news situation. We're trying to get more details on this as to how the fire began. But right now, we understand that fire department, police personnel, police officials, all have been rushed to the spot. Measures are being implemented to prevent the fire from spreading to adjacent areas. As you can see, it's a market area, so even the shops nearby are at risk. My colleague Aishwarya also joins me with more details on this. Aishwarya, take us through what's the situation on the ground right now. We understand that police personnel and fire brigade team, in fact, is on their way to douse the fire right now.
Absolutely, as you can see here, the entire shopping complex, a 3-story building, has been entirely gutted in fire, and one particular portion has been literally been reduced to ashes, and that is the area where clothing store was present. This particular shopping complex, a 3-story building, housed several shops, several small shops together, and in one particular shop which sells helmets is where the fire had begun, leaving that which actually spread across and became huge in less than 20-25 minutes is what the fire personnel here have said, and they are trying to douse the fire entirely. And you can see the fire has almost been reduced and taken in control, and there is only now smoke coming out of the building. But as you can see, the building has been entirely gutted into fire and been reduced to ashes as well. And because they were in one particular 2 to 3 shops where the clothing shops, and because of those clothes which quickly catch fire and are combustible materials, so that is the reason the fire had become even more massive than expected, is what the police personnel have also said here, and that is the reason they have been trying to douse the fire. And on the other hand, if you can see, this is a market area, a heavily traffic area, and that is the reason they are trying to divide a particular section where they can move the traffic as well as clear and also well as combat the fire equally. And even the Hyderabad CP has also clearly said to avoid this particular road for another 1 to 2 hours, so that they can entirely get the entire fire situation under control, is what the police official have also let out a warning, let out of a cautionary saying this particular road in Ameerpet should be avoided for the next 2 to 3 hours, so that they can get the entire situation under control. But the fortunate part in this entire incident is that there are no casualties reported, because the fire started in a very small way in one particular small small shop in Helmet. And when the fire began, the entire complex, the entire staff and the shopkeepers ran outside and alerted the fire department, and that is the reason no casualties have been reported, is what the police have also said.
All right, so, the big takeaway is that despite the extensive damage that we're looking at in terms of property, human lives have not been lost in this tragic accident, which is a big and a good takeaway right now from this accident. But although it's very initially right now, but what do we know about this, the cause of the fire? What exactly triggered this massive blaze at the shopping complex?
Well, the cause of the fire is something the police are also yet to ascertain, because as you see, their main focus here is to first reduce the fire and take situation under control. Right. Be it the traffic problem, be it the crowd management, or be it the shopping complex, to douse the entire smoke as well. So what they have said is, once the fire has been doused, they will enter into one particular shop, because it is not one particular big complex, but several small shops in a 3-story building. So they have to go into this particular one small shop that sells helmets and determine what had led to this particular fire. So for that, they said that they will require more time, and when the entire fire has been doused, they will go inside and check what had created this particular spark that led to an entire building reduced to ashes.
Right, so no casualties and injuries have been reported in this incident. Could you give us a timeline as to when exactly the call was received about this fire, and for how long the emergency operations have been going on?
Well, what we have learned is that it's been 45 minutes now that the emergency operations have been going on. They first received a call maybe between 12:30 to 1, and after which the fire extinguisher and the fire department and the police department came about. And when the fire began at a very small shop, it was not expected that it would go on and take the entire building with it, because as I told you, in between the entire complex was some clothing shops. 2 to 3 clothing shops were present, where when the fire reached that particular shop is when the fire massively became huge, and that is the reason there was a entire building, and it took the entire building down with it. So that when it's been 45 minutes that they are focusing on 2 particular shops, that is a clothing shop as well as where the fire had begun, that is a helmet shop. As you can see, there's a targeted water that they are firing at, where they are only targeting the clothing shops as well as where it has begun, where that is the helmet shop. So these are the 2 areas that the fire had massively. One where it has massively broken, and one where it actually emerged out of proportion, blown out of proportion. So what the police are saying is that it's been 45 minutes that they are trying to douse the fire in both the areas, and they had received maybe just 5 to 10 minutes before that, they had received a call saying that there has been a fire broken out in this particular shopping complex in Amirpet.
Right. I continue to emphasize on this point for our viewers as well, that no injuries or casualties have been reported from this massive fire incident reported from Hyderabad, which is a big takeaway and a happy takeaway from this accident. But I want to ask you about the scale of this accident. We understand that at present about 7 fire tenders have been deployed to the site, and as you mentioned, the operation has been going on for over 45 minutes for now. So if you could explain to our viewers the scale of this entire fire accident.
Well, the scale is really huge, because you can see almost 7 fire tenders have been deployed, and even more are being called for because of the massive fire that it has emerged. And if you could see the visuals as well, the fire was very huge and very and if you could see, the entire 3-story building is just reduced to ashes. That is the impact of this fire. That was the impact that the fire has broken out, and you could actually you could see nothing in this particular building except its construction. It has been reduced to ashes, and even after 45 minutes, there is still water cannons working at their best to reduce the ashes, and the smoke is being seen for almost 1.5 kilometers, and you could actually feel the smoke in the air. So this is the kind of impact this fire has caused. Even though this is a 3-story building at one particular area, the entire smoke is being seen up to 1.5 kilometer in this particular market busy area. And as you can see, around in and around this is a very busy market area as well. So there are other shops that were at high risk of spreading the fire, but because of the timely response of the fire department, they could reduce the fire in this particular building, and they could and stop it from passing on to other restaurants or hotels or other shops that are nearby or adjacent to this particular shopping complex. So this is the kind of impact, and the entire building has been reduced to fire, reduced to ashes, and this is a huge property damage to as well. It can be reported because of the kind of impact this fire has been created.
Right, of course, Shreya, we can see, in fact, right now the entire 3-story shopping complex has been charred, and what remains is just the structure of it right now, and the operations are still on at the site. As you mentioned, that traffic has also been diverted given the scale of the operations which are ongoing at the site. But I want to ask you, any word that is coming from the administration, from the market body, or from the officials, in fact, which are present on the site?
The police officials as well as the market have yet to be officially give a statement, because everybody right now are determined to douse the fire and make sure that the entire smoke, the traffic and has been cleared, the smoke can be gutted, and to make sure that no other items what are the items that are being gutted in fire, what is the remaining property in this particular shopping complex, because I have already mentioned this entire shopping complex houses several small shops. It's not one big shopping complex. So the market is yet to determine the kind of property loss and damages and how many shops are entirely burnt in the fire, and which can be brought back, which are partially burnt or can be renovated, So these are something that the market should be determining, and that is the reason after the entire fire has been gutted, and when their permission is given to actually analyze what kind of property damage has been is from the inside of the building, is what the market people and the person responsible for this particular building is also waiting for this. And after which the entire fire will be gutted. The other important items like why and when the fire has been broken out, what was the reason behind it, what is the extent of the property damages, how many shops have been entirely gutted, and how many can be renovated and recovered back from this particular fire accident is something we have to be determined.
Right, Shreya, of course, as you mentioned that it's not just one shopping complex, there are several smaller shops also which have been gutted in this massive fire which has in fact engulfed the entire complex in Hyderabad right now. Shreya, I want to ask you, although it is very early to ascertain the cause of the fire, but any word regarding negligence? Were there lapses which caused the fire? Was there a pattern of negligence? Because we have seen, as we continue to report on several fire incidents, something happened in Bihar, in Delhi, of course, we have seen criminal negligence. So were there any signs of that are coming out in this one?
Well, it is too early to say what is the negligence about, because one thing that is coming forward is the short circuit, as well as the kind of heat wave that is being determined. There's been cause of heat wave as well. So when there's a massive heat wave alert that has been announced by the IMDB in Telangana, what we are here learning is that whether this complex have the required fire equipment, does it follow the norms of the to protect itself from the in case of any fire, and if it's a short circuit, why was the reason of the short circuit? Has the thorough checks of the shopping complex have been done regularly? Is something the investigation will look into, is what the police have said. Once the entire fire has been gutted, is what the fire has been doused off, is what the police have been repeatedly saying.
All right, thanks Shreya for joining us and giving us all these details about this massive fire accident that's unfolding right now in Hyderabad. Efforts on to douse the fire at the moment. Thanks so much. And now, viewers, going on to another breaking news we're catching at this moment. Now, in the Twisha Sharma case, Samad and Giribala are receiving VIP treatment inside jail. Now, Giribala and Samad, both the mother-son accused in this case, are in fact, jail hospital at the moment. Giribala has been kept in the jail hospital citing security concerns, while Samad, the accused husband, remains there on the grounds of injury. Now, this is a Republic investigation which has found out that as both the accused in the Twisha Sharma case have now been remanded to judicial custody for about 14 days, they are indeed receiving the VIP treatment inside jail. Now, both of them, in fact, are currently inside the jail hospital. They're receiving the VIP treatment there, while Samad has been lodged inside the hospital on the grounds of injury. Giribala continues to stay there, citing security concerns. My colleague Satyavijay also joins me with more details on this. Satyavijay, do tell us the details that you have gathered about Giribala and Samad both being present in the jail hospital and receiving VIP treatment there.
जी हाँ बिल्कुल, देखिए गिरिवाला और समर्थ 14 दिन की न्यायिक हिरासत में है। इस दौरान उन्हें जेल में ही रहना होगा, लेकिन जो खबरें हैं उसके मुताबिक समर्थ और गिरिवाला को वीआईपी ट्रीटमेंट दिया जा रहा है। दरअसल समर्थ के वकील ने ये कोर्ट में जिरह के दौरान बताया था कि उनके जो क्लाइंट है समर्थ, उनके पैर में चोट है और उन्हें इलाज की जरूरत है। दूसरी तरफ गिरिवाला की तरफ से ये दलील दी गई थी कि उन्होंने कई ऐसे फैसले सुनाए हैं जिसके आरोपी जो हैं, जो भोपाल सेंट्रल जेल में सजा काट रहे हैं, तो ऐसे में उनकी जान को खतरा है। तो जज ने ही ये व्यवस्था दी थी कि दोनों को सेपरेट रखा जाए। ये व्यवस्था जज के द्वारा दी गई थी, लेकिन मेडिकल नीड उनको है या नहीं, उन्हें मेडिकल वार्ड में क्यों रखा गया, इसको लेकर सवाल खड़े हो रहे हैं। और इसी बात पर कहीं ना कहीं ये कहा जा रहा है कि क्या चूंकि रसूखदार लेडी हैं, जज रही हैं, तो क्या इसलिए इनको ये वीआईपी ट्रीटमेंट दिया जा रहा है?
Right, Satyavijay, and this is not the first time that they have been treated in such an unfair manner. We have seen even earlier how Giribala was given anticipatory bail. She was not questioned for days on end, and even Samad remained absconding. So after several patterns of systems sort of working in their favor, this comes another blockade for justice in this case.
जी हाँ बिल्कुल, देखिए शुरुआत से ही जब त्विषा की संदिग्ध मौत का खुलासा हुआ था, उसके बाद से ही ये लगातार आरोप लग रहे थे कि गिरिबाला रसूखदार लेडी है, न्यायिक व्यवस्था में उनका हस्तक्षेप है। कई लोगों को उन्होंने फोन भी किए थे, 46 ऐसे नंबर भी रिलीज किए गए थे, जिससे ये आरोप लगे थे कि ये रसूख का और पावर का इस्तेमाल करके केस कमजोर कर सकती है। एंटीसिपेटरी बेल भी उन्हें मिली थी, जिसका कि हाईकोर्ट ने इसको खारिज किया विरोध के बाद, क्योंकि इस तरह के जो प्रकरण होते हैं उसमें इतनी जल्दी एंटीसिपेटरी बेल नहीं मिलती है। तो यही उसी कड़ी में एक और ये कह सकते हैं एक एंगल देखने को मिल रहा है, जहां पर कि कोर्ट ने सेपरेट रखने का तो बात मानी थी कि जेल में इनको बाकी कैदियों से अलग रखा जाए, लेकिन मेडिकल वार्ड में रखने की बात ही संदेह पैदा करती है। और इसीलिए रिपब्लिक मीडिया नेटवर्क लगातार इस मुद्दे को उठा रहा है कि ऐसा क्यों कि ये गिरिबाला और समर्थ को मेडिकल वार्ड में रखा गया है। हालांकि चूंकि जेल अधीक्षक कोई भी जिम्मेदार व्यक्ति जेल प्रशासन का फोन पर बात करने को भी राजी नहीं है कि किस बेस पर उन्होंने इन दोनों को मेडिकल वार्ड में रखा। ये जरूर है कि समर्थ के वकील ने ये दलील दी थी कि इसके पैर में इंजरी है और इस वजह से इलाज की जरूरत है, तो उसे ट्रीटमेंट दिया जाए। तो इस लिहाज से भी हो सकता है कि मेडिकल वार्ड में रखा गया।
All right, thanks Satyavijay for joining us and giving us all these details on these big developments in Twisha Sharma case. And now, viewers, a major statewide operation against suspected illegal immigration is underway in Gujarat. Under Operation Delta Hunt, Gujarat police have now detained hundreds of individuals suspected of being illegal Bangladeshi nationals. Officials say the drive is aimed at identifying foreign nationals residing in the state without valid documentation and dismantling their networks that may be facilitating the illegal stay. Take a look at this report.
Operation Delta Hunt has emerged as one of the biggest anti-illegal immigration drives in Gujarat in recent years. According to the Gujarat DGP office, 501 suspected illegal Bangladeshi nationals have been arrested across the state. Police sources say that 424 arrests were made within the last 24 hours alone. The statewide crackdown involved coordinated raids by multiple police teams across several districts, with authorities conducting document verification, identity checks, and intelligence-based searches. Investigators are also examining possible links involving forged identity papers, unauthorized accommodation, and illegal employment arrangements. With 501 arrests reported so far and verification drives continuing across the state, Gujarat police say the operation is far from over.
All right, viewers, now a major tragedy unfolded in Bihar's Muzaffarpur in early hours of Thursday after a massive fire broke out at Prasad Hospital. Now, the blaze reportedly started in the intensive care unit, triggering panic among patients and hospital staff. Several fire engines rushed to the spot and a large-scale rescue operation was launched. The district magistrate has now confirmed multiple fatalities. In fact, the number currently stands at about 4. Our correspondent brings you much more details in this. Take a look.
A massive fire broke out at Prasad Hospital on Juran Chhapra Road number 3 in Nagar, Bihar around 3 a.m. on Thursday, sending panic through the healthcare facility. Though smoke engulfed parts of the hospital after fumes reportedly erupted inside the intensive care unit, where several critically ill patients were currently undergoing treatment. As the fire spread, emergency services rushed into action. Multiple fire tenders were deployed on the scene, while firefighters, police personnel, hospital staff worked together to evacuate patients trapped inside the building. After hours of firefighting operation, the tragedy claimed the lives of 4 people. Reacting to the tragedy, Bihar Chief Minister Samrat Chaudhary expressed deep sorrow over the loss of lives and extended condolences to the bereaved families. The Chief Minister also announced an ex gratia compensation of 4 lakh rupees each to the next of those who died in the fire. The state government has assured all possible assistance to the affected families. Preliminary reports suggest that a short circuit may have triggered the blaze, although the officials have not yet confirmed the exact cause. Authorities have promised strict action if negligence or violation of safety norms are found during the probe.
All right, viewers, that's all we could pack in this edition of Live and Breaking. Thanks so much for watching and don't go anywhere. Coming up on the other side, in a brazen disregard for rules, a big revelation comes to light. The hotel owner in Malviya Nagar fire case had only license to operate a tea shop. Getting you all the details on Republic's a big investigation on this. On the other side, stay tuned.
प्यास बुझाए ठंडक लाए सबको भाई जीरा से MDH का जलजीरा जीरा से
जीरा से असली रिफ्रेशिंग, असली स्वाद, असली मजा।
MDH
रानी, इस घर में कुछ है जो टूटता नहीं।
ये पिलर कभी नहीं टूटेगा। रुंगटा स्टील TMT से बना।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है। अरे मेरे राजा, सबका राजा आर मसाला।
I want to start with some very disturbing pictures that have come in of a so-called right wing.
Our pure Shahi Paneer Masala. Delicious, healthy, every day.
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
आलू चाट या फ्रूट चाट,
स्वाद बढ़ाए चमकी चाट।
क्या बात है? स्वादिष्ट पकोड़े और फरसान, अरे चमकी चाट है इसकी जान।
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चमकी चाट।
In fact, very often I believe the only way to get justice in India is a media trial. So there's no reason for the media, if it's doing a good job of a media trial, to be on the back foot. In fact, the courts should stop making these overarching remarks about media trial and contemplate about one very basic thing. With the greatest of respect to the courts, when the other institutions fail, when people get let down by the system, when even the judiciary does not seem to be listening or raising a noise about issues, like in the case of Twisha Sharma. Who does the public look to for justice, for raising their voice, for bringing something that's utterly false, illegal or wrong to public attention? It is only and only the media. And today, therefore, we are doing a media trial in this specific case, ladies and gentlemen, of Twisha Sharma, the 33-year-old daughter-in-law of an ex-judge, in a case where the ex-judge and the ex-judge's advocate's son appear to be more than involved. Ladies and gentlemen, 15 questions tonight. And if they think it's a media trial, so be it. So be it. Why did the ex-judge in the case of Twisha Sharma, neither she nor her son call a police or an ambulance? What took them 57 minutes to bring the body down?
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
सैंडविच, लस्सी और छाछ।
हर घूंट में चमकी चाट। अब बताओ, स्वाद आया? आया।
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चमकी चाट।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता, उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ,
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा, आर प्योर मसाला।
I want to start with some very disturbing pictures that have come in of a so-called right-wing leader. His name is Sushil Prajapati. He's accused of rape. After being in jail for 9 months, he gets bail, which means he's still an accused.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है? अरे मेरे राजा,
Amity has been ranked amongst the top 3% universities globally, a testimony to Amity's globally benchmarked quality.
प्यास बुझाए, ठंडक लाए, सबको भाए जीरा से। MDH का जलजीरा जीरा से।
जीरा से असली रिफ्रेशिंग, असली स्वाद, असली मजा।
In fact, very often I believe the only way to get justice in India is a media trial. So there's no reason for the media, if it's doing a good job of a media trial, to be on the back foot. In fact, the courts should stop making these overarching remarks about media trial and contemplate about one very basic thing. With the greatest of respect to the courts, when the other institutions fail, when people get let down by the system, when even the judiciary does not seem to be listening or raising a noise about issues, like in the case of Twisha Sharma. Who does the public look to for justice, for raising their voice, for bringing something that's utterly false, illegal or wrong to public attention? It is only and only the media. And today, therefore, we are doing a media trial in this specific case, ladies and gentlemen, of Twisha Sharma, the 33-year-old daughter-in-law of an ex-judge in a case where the ex-judge and the ex-judge's advocate's son appear to be more than involved. Ladies and gentlemen, 15 questions tonight. And if they think it's a media trial, so be it. So be it. Why did the ex-judge in the case of Twisha Sharma, neither she nor her son call a police or an ambulance? What took them 57 minutes to bring the body down? Where are the 3 men who are seen in the video dragging Twisha's body, destroying evidence? What was the police doing? Did they question the house staff? Did they question the judge?
Hello and a very warm welcome. You're watching Republic TV. I'm Yesu Bharadwaj, and viewers, in Delhi, the inferno that killed at least 21 people. Probe has been launched, and in fact 700 more hotels have been identified with similar regulatory violations across the national capital. We're getting you all the details. Here's a check on your headlines for the hour. Take a look. In a brazen disregard for rules, big revelation comes to light. The hotel owner in Malviya Nagar fire case only had license to operate a tea shop. Delhi fire inferno kills 21. The owner admits what Republic flagged. The hotel did not have NOC from the fire department. Malviya Nagar hotel owner Lokesh arrested to be produced in court today. Manhunt on for Mangar J. Mishra. Delhi government withdraws policy on BNB establishments after major fire. All BNB establishments to be reviewed. New Trinamool emerges without Mamta. 60 MLAs revolt against Mamta Banerjee and Abhishek Banerjee. Viewers, now starting first. Republic's investigation has revealed rampant corruption on a camera 13 illegal hotels in one locality. Now, a major fire broke out yesterday, which claimed the lives of about 21 people. When the hotel was under fire, people were seen jumping from the roof to save their lives. Now, serious lapses were also found, like there was only one entry and exit point, and that too blocked. And according to the bed and breakfast scheme that this hotel was operating under, the hotel was only allowed to build about 6 rooms. But in the hotel, at the time when it caught on fire, there were about 25 operational rooms. Now, eyewitnesses also say that fire tenders came about 1 hour late. The fire that erupted at 8:50 a.m. was doused down. The efforts to douse it down began at about 9:45 a.m. that day. This isn't just this hotel. Republic investigation also reveals that there are many such illegal running hotels in the Malviya Nagar area and across the national capital. Now, in fact, my colleague Saurav also brings us more details from Ground Zero. Listen in.
Currently, we are present at the Hoskas area where this tragic incident of fire took place, and which claimed 21 lives, out of which 18 were foreign nationals. And we are standing just right adjacent to the street where the fire broke out. And as you can see, this is a residential area. However, the people have started turning their residential buildings into a hotel. And as you can see, we are standing just outside a hotel, and this door of the hotel is today blocked. As to avoid the scrutiny of the authorities, they have even removed the flex board. As you can see, there is no signage board here present at the spot. There is no flex board, no advertisement that this is a hotel and they are renting their rooms to the guest. And even the door is locked. And this is a symbol of corruption, as this is not allowed in a residential complex. And as you can see, this is also in BNB, and it is also conducting commercial activities in the residential area. However, it has also made 6 floors which are not allowed in the national capital. This hotel is of 6 floors. This is completely illegal, as you can see. And apart from that, just 20 meters away from this location, I can also show you that there is another hotel which is also locked today. See, we are trying to open this door, but both the doors are locked. And as yesterday a major fire broke out, after that the Municipal Corporation of the National Capital has ordered scrutiny of such buildings, such hotels running in this area. After getting this news, all the owners fled from the spot, and they have also removed the signages, the flex boards which were present here. However, the authorities knew that these people are conducting commercial activities here at the spot. As you can see, there is a commercial meter installed at the location. We are showing you the exact place and the exact things, and there are several lapses. As you can see, this is a commercial meter which was placed by the BSES, which is the electricity supplying discom of the National Capital. However, authorities knew what is going on under their nose, and they still kept quiet. They did not took any action against those who are operating such illegal businesses in the heart of the National Capital. You can see this building is also nearly 5 floors, including the ground floor, and they are conducting these kind of activities under the nose of the authorities, and authorities kept sleeping. And now when this major fire broke out and 21 people have lost their life, now they wake up from their slumber, and now they are taking action. There are orders, several orders. They have scrapped the BNB rule and what not. But the major point here is this only comes at a time when 21 people already lost their life tragically in the national capital.
In fact, this is not a one-off incident. Major discrepancies have been highlighted. They've come to fore post this one incident in Malviya Nagar. In fact, my colleague Saurav also spoke to one of the local residents who actually goes on to claim on camera that yes, illegal construction and a misuse of regulatory violations that is happening in real time as we speak. Listen in.
We have with us Praveen Kumar, who is a resident of this colony where these illegal hotels are working round the clock, and no one from the authorities are coming here to inspect and take strict action against them. And now joining on our broadcast is Praveen Kumar. Sir, ये आपके घर के बिल्कुल सामने?
जी हाँ, बिल्कुल ये घर मेरा है सामने.
हाँ, और बिल्कुल सामने 2 होटल्स चल रहे हैं इलीगल.
2 नहीं, 1, 2, 3 और 4. ये 4 इस लाइन में, तो 4 यहीं पे. जी. ये इलीगल होटल चल रहे हैं और अभी से नहीं, ये हो गए 4-5 साल हो गए इसी तरीके से, और अब तो लगातार बनते जा रहे हैं. नए होटल्स एरिया में हौजरानी के अंदर लगातार बन रहे हैं.
सर, ये कब से चल रहे हैं? ये होटल्स कब से हैं?
देखिए, जब से मैक्स यहाँ आया है तब से यहाँ कमरों की और इसकी डिमांड हो गई, क्योंकि पेशेंट बाहर से आते हैं इलाज कराने, और जैसी जैसी डिमांड बढ़ती गई वैसे वैसे ये होटल श्रृंखला बढ़ती गई.
तो यहाँ पे कभी MCD वाले, पुलिस वाले, कोई अथॉरिटी आई होगी, एक्शन लिया होगा?
कुछ नहीं सर. देखिए, ये सिस्टम है और ये सिस्टम ऐसे ही चलता है. इसमें MCD भी आती है, हेल्थ भी आता है, लाइसेंसिंग डिपार्टमेंट भी आते हैं, लेकिन उनके मंथली होते हैं, वो अपने हिसाब से मैनेज करके चले जाते हैं. पूरी बिल्डिंग बन गई और सालों से चल भी रहा है. आपने कल न्यूज़ आप लोगों के थोड़ा बना द्वारा ही पता लगा कि जिनके पास तो फायर की NOC भी नहीं है, तो कैसे चल रहा है. एक छोटा सा दुकानदार अगर सड़क के किनारे अपनी रेडी लगाता है और थोड़ी सी वो वायलेशन करता है कानून की, तो उसी टाइम रेडी उठा के उसकी जब्त कर ली जाती है. करें ना, इन पे वायलेशन क्यों नहीं होता है? सालों से ये किस हिसाब से चल रहे हैं? कहीं तो कुछ ना कुछ मिली भगत है. यही है सर. इसी
अब सर, यहाँ पे तो कमर्शियल मीटर भी BSES ने लगा के दे रखा है.
सर, कमर्शियल मीटर लगा के देखेगा तो इनको 6 कमरों के लिए मिला है ना. परमिशन तो 6 कमरों की है, परमिशन है बनाने की. इनको कमरे जो है ब्रेड एंड ब्रेकफास्ट में 6 कमरों के, लेकिन बन गए 24-24, 25-25, और उसी मीटर के ऊपर लोड पे चल रहा है. तो क्या BSES के अधिकारी ये नहीं देख रहे हैं, या DDA ये चीज़ नहीं देख रहा है?
हम अगर बाहर से ही देखें तो 8 कमरे तो हमें बाहर से ही दिख रहे हैं.
24 से 25 कमरे हर में. आप किसी में भी जाएंगे, इवन बेसमेंट में, छतों के ऊपर रेस्टोरेंट है. आप जब मेरी छत पे आएंगे तो मैं ऊपर से दिखा सकता हूँ. ऊपर पूरा रेस्टोरेंट सेटअप है, ओपन एयर, जहाँ पर शाम में रेस्टोरेंट चलता है इनका. सब इनलीगल चल रहा है। तो क्या एक आम पब्लिक देख रही है तो अधिकारी नहीं देख रहे, सरकार नहीं देख रही इस चीज़ को? लेकिन हर चीज़ मैनेज होता है सर, ये इंडिया है, ऐसे ही होता है। अब तो मैं यही आपसे एक सवाल खाली पूछने आया था कि आज इस एरिया के अंदर मीडिया भी एक्टिव है, सरकार भी एक्टिव है, प्रशासन भी एक्टिव है, सब है। आप इसी मालवीय नगर में एक बेगमपुर एरिया है, वहाँ भी जाएं या मेरे साथ चले, मैं चलता हूँ। इसी तरीके से होटलों की श्रृंखला वहाँ भी चल रही है और वो इंतज़ार कर रहे हैं एक नए हादसे होने का। एक नया हादसा वहाँ होगा तब हो सकता है मीडिया भी जाग जाएगी, शासन प्रशासन भी जाग जाएगा। लेकिन अगर ये कार्रवाई हो रही है तो वहाँ भी इमीडिएट कार्रवाई होनी चाहिए। मैं तो लोकल एक रेजिडेंस होने के नाते यही डिमांड करूँगा।
In fact, to give you a clearer picture of what this entire case